Our first fight of the evening, it is sponsored by Pat's Media Productions. They provide a top-tier broadcast for whatever you are looking to showcase. This crew, who are behind these cameras and these monitors, work tirelessly to put Fierce Fighting Championship into the living rooms of fierce fans everywhere and provide a platform for these fierce fighters to show the world what they can do. Pat's Media Productions, on behalf of fight fans and fierce fighters everywhere, we thank you. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Quentin Henderson and then Micah Murdoch to the cage.
First fighter on deck, enter Quentin Henderson. Andrew, only 8 months of MMA invested, but led by his older brother John, who holds a 3-1 amateur record and is quickly rising the ranks in Utah.
Yeah, it looks like, so both of these guys are making their debut, is that correct?
Yes.
Super interesting. So a lot of times when you have that two guys who have never fought before, there can be a lot of nervous energy in that cage, which can result in some extremely exciting fights. So this one should be awesome.
Jason, 8 months of MMA training primarily in that independent setting, but some blossom in those close quarters.
Yeah, and he looked great. He was pumped up. He was getting the crowd pumped up as he was walking out. I love the energy that I'm seeing from Henderson tonight so far.
Couple of years of wrestling under the resume as well for Quentin Henderson. Looks like we might see a little bit of grappling, but he did also mention to me he wants to conduct this fight on the feet, Andrew.
You know, a lot of people say that until they get punches thrown at their face, so we'll have to see if that ends up being like that. I was going to ask, is he an athlete? He looks like an athlete, and, you know, sometimes you hear when guys, they start training, they only have 8 months of experience, but it's not really the case, right? This guy's been wrestling for a while, and if that's the case, not all wrestlers consider their sport a martial art, but it absolutely is. He's actually been competing for quite a while. So a debut, yes. A novice, not so much.
All right, on the other side tonight, here is Micah Murdoch. Jason, a state-placing wrestler with 18 months of work to show out of Agema. Their debuters typically render optimal results.
Yeah, as Andrew just touched on, anytime you see a guy that has that wrestling background, you know they're coming a little prepared. And then when you also see that Agema, Provo, Utah, you know they're coming out of a legit gym. Dana Ristobal's down there, Amy, Court McGee's down there training. They got a stacked room down there in Provo, Utah at Agema.
Yeah, Andrew, he told me that he joined Agema because he knew of Court McGee through competing with his son Isaac in wrestling. Isaac, a prominent name in the 5A wrestling world, and now, 18 months later, again, here to make his first walk ever.
Yeah, when I saw him walk out, obviously got Dana in his corner over there. Quentin might want to conduct this fight on the feet. I highly, highly doubt that is what's going to happen if this guy's a wrestler and he's over there training at Agema. More likely than not, we're going to see this thing hit the mat.
Micah Murdoch told me if all goes according to plan, he's going to a concert at Red Rock tomorrow to see Kaleo. So the trip over to Morrison, Colorado is still in the air, but we will have to see how things fare over the next 9 minutes or so. But Jason, still got plans after Saturday night.
I love it. I plan ahead. Let's go. Let's get a W tonight, and let's go enjoy a concert.
State-placing wrestler, as well as 3 years of that grappling sport under the resume of Micah Murdoch as he makes his way inside the cage. First time tonight, fighter introductions will be underway. We pull up our tail of the tape to check out this one at 185 pounds. Micah Murdoch, 2 years senior. Quentin Henderson will have the 1-inch height advantage. Micah Murdoch weighing in at 182 pounds. Quentin Henderson weighing in at 181.5. Both fighters to make their debuts right now. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Pat's Media Productions, and this fight is an amateur middleweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making his amateur debut. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 181.5 pounds. Fighting as an independent fighter, hailing from Carlin, Nevada. Fierce fans, make some noise for Quentin Henderson! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 182 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Provo, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Micah Murdoch!
First of 24 tonight is Micah Murdoch in the red gloves. Following suit is Quentin Henderson in the blue. This amateur middleweight bout to kick off Fierce Challenger Series 10 is brought to you by Pats Media, providing a top-tier broadcast for whatever you're looking to showcase. Pats Media, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
You know, something I noticed that I didn't catch on right away. Quentin actually is an independent fighter.
Micah immediately closes the distance. Henderson sprawls well, but Murdoch in on that trip and now drops. But Henderson's fighting him, Andrew.
Yeah, and this is sort of what I expected to see. It looks like we got a guillotine attempt going here. Standing guillotine attempt. He's got his hands locked, but he's out. He's out.
Murdoch incessant in the pursuit of the takedown.
Good job fighting the hands.
This is a smart decision by Murdoch. A lot of times when you're a debut fighter, like I said, there are all those nerves, and getting the fight to the ground can really slow things down a lot, which is really good for amateur fighters.
Jason, a lot of energy expenditure through the first 45 seconds or so.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Andrew, you know, what's it like as two debuters going in here? What's going through both these guys' mind right now? And now
Murdoch lands into a primed position. Henderson privy to it, now starting to fight the hands like you said earlier, Jason, but Murdoch in a spot to really do some damage.
Yeah, he's doing a great job defending so far.
Looks to be locked up a little bit high, but still lets go of the grip. Not the best spot for Henderson to be early on in this debut fight as Micah Murdoch goes to work on the back. It transitions beautifully over to the armbar.
Right over to the triangle as well. Really beautiful transition there against the cage. And he's being very offensive in his jiu-jitsu. You love to see that, especially from a guy who doesn't have any fights yet.
And now Murdoch's on the back.
Rolls reverse as Henderson finds his way. He had a rear naked choke grip, but Murdoch able to scramble out of it, and now he's back on top. Round and around we go.
Pretty good scramble so far for the debuters.
Both fighters breathing out of the mouth early. A lot of energy expenditure as we lose a mouthpiece on the side of Henderson.
Both guys' chins in the air here while they're getting hit. This is pretty dangerous.
From grappling to striking we go. Henderson pops one off upstairs. As Dave Selly said, we'll call a timeout and get the mouthpiece of Quentin Henderson back in. High-octane offense so far, fellas.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. Like I said, I was hoping to see things slow down a little bit. These guys are really throwing caution to the wind here, and they're just swinging. Like I said, chins in the air and just smashing each other. This is a much, much better approach here to get this grappling going again.
25 ticks to go, round one of a possible three, as Micah Murdoch looks to initiate some more grappling. Henderson able to keep the fight upstairs as Murdoch punishes him for it. Jason still coming forward.
Oh, these guys are both just landing left and right. What a fight so far, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously super exciting, but you don't necessarily want to see this from your fighter when he's doing so well in the grappling to just stand in there and be getting take shots to the face.
These Fierce Challenger Series fights never disappoint.
Oh, they don't.
Looks like Dane just dropped all of his supplies there.
Brendan Myers picking up the pieces. Non-stop output between these two. Jason, your thought through 3 minutes of fight time.
Highly competitive round, back and forth round. Yeah, both guys look like they got a little bit of damage on their face. I feel like Quentin with the submission attempts, and he landed some bigger shots towards the end there. I'm going to get a slight edge to Quentin in that first round.
Obviously, towards the end there, it could have been anybody's fight. I really thought like the grappling was being dominated, but towards the end, when you're just swinging like that, you really leave it in the judge's hands. I'm hoping, and I would assume in between rounds here that their coaches are telling them like, hey, a little bit more composed here. Let's get this fight back to the mat.
Jason, cardiovascular seems to be tested right now. Both fighters breathing deeply coming into the top of the fourth minute.
Yeah, I can only imagine what both those guys are going through.
And look, a lot of that's going to be nerves, right? When it's your first fight, like it's difficult to get yourself under composed and approach it from a more logical point of view. When you're super worked up and you're worried like that, when you come out and you see an amateur guy slapping his hands and yelling and stuff, sometimes that's them being excited, but sometimes they're trying to burn off some of that nervous energy.
Top of the second round we go. 2 debuters here at 185 pounds. Thudding shot lands for Henderson, but Micah Murdoch answers right back.
Murdoch's landed a nice one, too. Murdoch has used his jab very well. He landed a 3 or 4 tough jabs in the first round, and he came out and landed a nice 1-2 to start the round here.
Henderson utilizes the kicks. Both fighters do. Haven't seen a lot of that thus far through the fight.
There it is, that jab again from Murdoch.
That is a nice jab.
Henderson cocked back the head of Murdoch as we go up against the cage. Murdoch, the aggressor.
Henderson is doing a great job. Every single time they have an engagement in the clinch or on the ground when he's getting his back taken, he's really disciplined about having a 2-on-1. And that's really helped him out a lot here.
Murdoch looking for the trip. Henderson goes back to the well. This guillotine could be tight.
That is really tight.
Dave Selystead taking a good look.
Power's out of it.
Wow. Murdoch able to escape the tight submission attempt. Right back to work he goes. Dave Selystead was really close, Jason.
Yeah, he was really close. It looked like he was raising his arm back, but it looked like he was just trying to relax and get into a position where he could sneak his head out, which he did.
Murdoch will mat Henderson and back to a perfect spot for him to do some damage once again.
Murdoch's got some blood coming. I can't see where it's from, either a nose or maybe a cut under the right eye there.
Murdoch staying super disciplined with both of these hooks. You love to see that.
He might be under the chin now. Nope.
Murdoch's making, like I was saying earlier, Murdoch's making this really, really difficult. He's being super disciplined with his hand control here, which is perfect. If you got a guy that's on your back, it appears that he has an advantage on jiu-jitsu. It's brilliant. Just hold on to both hands. It makes it really hard, especially with little gloves on.
Murdoch surrendering a little bit of real estate, but still able to flatten him out. Henderson again on bottom in a much more compromised position. Murdoch now slaps on a rear naked choke. It's tough to see from the angle that we are at.
I'd really, really love to see Murdoch stop trying to choke and hit, get double underhooks and flatten him out.
Henderson doing a great job. He's listening to his corner. I've heard his corner just yell to fight the hand. He's doing a great job of fighting the hands.
10 ticks to go, round 2. It looks as though we will go back to the stools. Murdoch fighting for it, unable to get any sort of a grip. As we will move to the third and final round. Andrew, all offensive output between these two. What is the gas tank like between them coming into the top of round 3?
I got to say, I think Murdoch is looking pretty tired over there.
They're both gassed.
Yeah.
Henderson's over there breathing. He almost fell off his stool in the corner over there.
Yeah, they're both looking extremely tired. But that's normal, right? Like, both debuters, lots of grappling, lots of striking, and the striking primarily consisted of chins in the air hitting each other.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to get you tired. I have to say, as far as an independent fighter, he's doing a really good job of staying disciplined on the ground. I have to question the independent fighter thing. Like they definitely have some type of jiu-jitsu out there because he's doing little things that you don't see from an independent gym. Like the 2-on-1 hand fighting, it seems like a small thing, but it's not. When he almost had a rear naked choke locked in, he was actually reaching behind his head, which is, I don't want to say a newer thing in jiu-jitsu, but it's a very meta thing in jiu-jitsu to defend the rear naked choke. So he's obviously training with some guys who have an idea of what they're doing.
Jason, this is back-to-back shows in which the first fight of the night just seems to be the clear front-runner for fight of the night as we move on through the rest of these 11 fights.
I love it. I love it. Fierce Challenger Series never disappoint. That was a tougher round to score. That was a back-and-forth round. I'd like to see Henderson go back to that jab. He utilizes it very well in that first and second round in the beginning of the rounds.
That's what we want to see right there.
Murdoch converges. Henderson privy to it as he jumps and looks to attempt to get to mount. He's in top half at the moment.
Heavy pressure.
Beautiful up to that single leg. Not quite able to get it. pinned there up against the cage, not exactly where you want to be.
Henderson looking to take advantage of his specific spot in the cage.
Henderson might give up his back here. Murdoch's going to slide right to the back.
Murdoch finds his way right there. Nice find, Jason. Murdoch loses the grip, and now Henderson closes the distance once again.
This is a fatigue issue. Murdoch is exhausted. This is absolutely not a skill issue. He knows what he needs to do. Murdoch might be a little too tired to execute at this point.
And just as you say that, he comes back and lands a 1-2.
Just under 2 minutes to work between these two middleweights.
Attempted lateral drop, but not quite enough in the gas tank there.
Henderson back up on top.
Henderson's going to end up giving up his back again. Murdoch is going to slide out the back again. Henderson needs to get his hips switched. Or Murdoch's going to pop his head back and have his back just like that.
Henderson needs to turn and face. He needs to get his chest on top of Murdoch's chest.
I think they're listening to us, Andrew.
This might be an all-time record for most back control in a fight I've ever seen. It seems like every grappling position has ended up right where we're seeing right now.
It has. Competitive rounds.
Doesn't look like he's got this locked in. Now it's looking a little bit more dangerous.
Doing a good job pushing that elbow up. I'm with you, Andrew. I'm not buying this independence thing. You see how he pushed that elbow up like that to get out of that?
He obviously knows what he's doing. We got short time here left on the clock, 50 seconds. We'll see if anything can happen. I mean, they're both exhausted, so if a finish was going to happen, this would be a good time to make it happen.
How hard is it, Andrew, to get that rear naked choke in with those gloves on?
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times in fights when you get rear naked chokes, the other guys kind of let you get a rear naked choke. Sometimes you get into fights and it's a little bit harder than you thought it was going to be, and a rear naked choke is an easy way out of a fight without looking like you quit. But neither one of these guys looking like they want to go that route.
25 seconds to decide it. Murdoch still on the back, but Henderson finds his way up. Able to get the reversal just about. Murdoch still has the upper body control, but able to scrape that off is Henderson. As he now attacks the upper body.
If I'm Murdoch here, I'm just hanging on. I'm just controlling posture and trying to make the round, time out.
Nine minutes up, 9 minutes down. We will go to a decision in this one. Jason, we'll have to see what the judges tally, but it's going to be tough between these two.
That's it. This is a tough fight to score. I felt the first round, I felt Murdoch edged it out, but these last two rounds could have gone either way. Maybe a slight edge to Henderson in this third round, but wow, what a fight to start off the night.
Andrew, do you share that subject that you think Quinton Henderson finished out that third round well?
It's hard to say. He got his back control the majority of the time. He did end the round on top, and obviously optics when you're judging, that does not look great, but based off of what I saw, I don't really see how you don't give it to Murdoch. I don't think it was a super one-sided fight, obviously, but Murdoch did control the majority of the fight, and he was the closest to finishing the fight. And so I've got to go. I got to go with him on this one.
We will have to see how things play out. Judges' scorecards being tallied as we speak, but Micah Murdoch, what a way to splash onto the scene. Very excited to see what the future holds for him at 185 pounds.
That was a good fight. It was a very good fight, especially for two guys making their debuts. That was very good.
Non-stop action between the two. We see Quinton with his brother John. Again, John, a 3-1 amateur himself. Quinton looking to keep that trend alive as we see what the verdict is. 11 fights still to come. 2 titles still on the line as well as a professional bout to close out the night here at Warehouse 22. Again, Blake O'Rulean alongside Andrew Boquette and Jason Laporte with us here in the 3-man booth for Fierce Challenger Series 10. Very happy to be here. Quinton Henderson seems to have his wits back about him, but he was exhausted at the ring of the bell, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys were pretty tired. When you get into those kind of grappling exchanges, you're fighting off of your back, you're trying to hold the guy down, you're getting your face smashed in, which they both were when they were on their feet. I mean, it's exhausting. And not to mention, I know I already brought this up, but I really want to hammer it in. When you're making your debut, it's different. Like, you're nervous, you have people watching you, and I don't care how good you are in the gym, it doesn't matter. When you get into this cage and there are people watching you and the other guy actually wants to hurt you, the anxiety levels, they make you more tired than you used to be.
All right, looks like we are just about ready to decide it. With a hot microphone, here is Jackson Hopes.
Here's fans. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28, declaring your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Micah Murdoch!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to both of these fighters, debut fighters, putting on a phenomenal performance tonight. Micah, that was a great performance, high-paced fight. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Keep looking for the execution left with the war. Welcome to the arena, guys. This is Warehouse 22.
There was a bunch of times in the first, second, and third round that you had his back. Did you feel like you were going to get the finish there?
I'll be honest, drilling jiu-jitsu is easier than MMA. Got a lot more tired. I'm ready to devour some chicken nuggets after this.
Well, I'll finish this interview up pretty quick for you. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Sponsors, family, friends?
Everyone that came out here to support. Some people from my childhood I ain't seen in a minute. Special thanks to my dad. It's pretty great. My little brother, we've been training in the basement a little bit. He's got his own journey. It's his birthday tomorrow. Thanks for coming out, Reese. I'm gonna go see you in Colorado tomorrow for a concert.
Go get you some chicken nuggets, man. Give it up for your winner, Micah Murdoch. You've defended the belt now. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
This guy right over here, Nate Reinhardt, this is his next.
He's kind of set the bar for that bantamweight division.
I don't know if there is a more fluid striker at the amateur level.
The steer's starting to pick him apart now.
There it is! Nasir Davis is unbelievable! That right hand was nuclear. No one is going to stop this kid.
Stop the crowd on their feet, Blake.
Digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on extra shows coming up in the future. Welcome back in, everybody, to Warehouse 22. Blake O'Rulian alongside Andrew Boquette, as well as Jason Laporte. And Jason, that's going to be a tough task to top that one. Micah Murdoch, Quinton Henderson, what a fight that was.
That was a fun first fight of the night. Both guys bringing a lot of energy in there. That was a competitive fight.
Cannot wait for it. This one looks to follow suit at 145 pounds. Nico Mascareñas and Nico Suascoon. The battle of the Nicos waiting in the wings. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Java Express. The Murphys over there, a 30-year legacy that settles for nothing but the best. With a menu of over 200 handcrafted beverages, their drinks hit hard, their coffee is as strong as these fighters, and after working hard in the cage, their protein shakes will keep these fighters fight ready. Keep your chin down, your hands up, and get ready to knock your taste buds out with a punch of deliciousness at Java Express. Here's fans, make some noise and welcome Riker Wood and then Walker Pelto to the cage. Oh, hold on, we're going to switch this up. Already changing things around. We are going to introduce the Battle of the Nicos, Nico Suascoon, and then Nico Mascareñas to the cage.
Well, he wowed us in March and looks to do it again. Enter Nico Suascoon. Jason, I apologize. He jumps from point A to point B at a rapid rate. Only 43 seconds to take care of business in the inaugural walk, Jason.
I like this kid. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a huge crowd. You can hear the crowd yelling, Nico, Nico. They might want to start saying his last name because this is the Battle of the Nicos, but I love what this kid brings to the cage.
Andrew, he brought a crowd and won over the masses in that debut. Only 43 seconds to best Michael Trunzo.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is when you're a fighter and you're 1-0, and you won your last fight in 43 seconds, it's not quite a debut, right? But it's also not quite a full fight either. And so a lot is left to question. Now, here's the things we do know. He's from Excite MMA, which means his cardio is going to be good. Those guys are freaks, right? He's been training with Mike Jones, so his wrestling's going to be good, our middleweight champion here at Fierce. But still a lot of questions to be answered, and this is a good way to do it. We'll figure out which Nico is best.
Jason, his opposition, Nico Mascarenhas, a 12-year age gap between them, something he didn't face last time out.
Yeah, he didn't face that the last time, but he also did not disappoint last time. He was all energy for those 43 seconds, and you can see, you can hear. I don't know if you guys can hear it at home watching YouTube, but he's got quite the crowd here, and he's got some pretty nice shorts on, fight shorts. I like that. Little a la Pernell Whitaker.
I like this guy. He's got his crowd holding up signs and stuff. It's awesome.
He was like a tornado in that fight back in March, nonstop. He just overwhelmed Trunzo.
All right, first time for everything. Here is Nico Mascarenhas. Andrew, 31 years of age with years of experience in his back pocket. He knew he wanted to participate in something like this before the window of opportunity closed up on him.
You know, this is a really interesting, the approach is so, wow, listen to that. Wow. Isn't that awesome, Jason?
It's the battle of the Nikos in the crowd.
That's so awesome. And totally different approach here to the fight, right? So first Nico comes out, and crowd goes crazy. He's freaking out, flashy shorts. This guy walks out, and he's all business.
Yeah. And then his crowd starts going.
Yeah, his crowd's going nuts.
All right, well, let's see the intangibles between these two at 145 pounds as we pull up our tail of the tape. Nico Mascarenhas versus Nico Suascoon. Again, that 12-year age gap between the two. Mascarenhas will be the taller man in there by 1 inch, standing 5'6". Mascarenhas weighing in at 144 pounds. The Suascoon weighing in at 143.5. Mascarenhas to make his debut right now. As for Suascoon, he holds a record of 1-0. Nico Mascarenhas, also coming out of Tooele Martial Arts Academy. They're 2-1 6 months into 2024, Jason.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I'm really excited to see how this fight goes tonight. Always love when the Tooele Martial Arts Academy guys step into the cage. Shout out to Brandon out in Tennessee. I know you're watching, brother. You know, he told me last night, he said, everybody watching this broadcast doesn't know who you're shouting out. Well, the guys out in Tooele know who I'm shouting out, Brandon. Shout out, brother.
It's been over 2 years on a hot microphone together. I don't think you've ever missed it once. I absolutely love it. All right, with that, we're going to kick it inside to our man, Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Sprinkleberry Cakes and Desserts. This battle of the Nikos is an amateur featherweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed in at 143.5 pounds. Fighting out of Excite MMA, hailing from Lehi, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Nico El Changuito Suascoon. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 144 pounds. Fighting out of Tooele Martial Arts Academy, hailing from Tooele, Utah. These fans, make some noise for Nico Mascarenhas.
First time for Nico Mascarenhas in the red gloves. On the other side is Nico Suascoon, who will swing with blue. This amateur featherweight bout is brought to you by Sprinkleberry Cakes. Delicious cakes and desserts galore in Clearfield, Utah. Sprinkleberry Cakes, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. Dave Selyusted, the third man in the cage here tonight. All 12 fights will be under his order here at Fierce Challenger Series 10.
So far in the battle of Nikos, Mascarenhas has the loudest crowd pop so far.
Definitely does.
Mascarenhas snappy with the leg kick early on. He'll strike first. Mascarenhas immediately closing the distance as Suascoon tries to sprawl out. Some stout wrestling by Suascoon, gets him out of the way. Now his shot, Mascarenhas privy to it.
And I'm going to be saying this a lot tonight, but this is a good decision to start grappling in these fights, especially when you're an amateur. Slow the action down a little bit, get a little bit of control.
Yeah, I like Mascarenas. He held back on a couple of those punches, just like you're saying, was very well controlled. And now Suskun is on the back.
Suaskun right back to what he did last time out. On the back of Mascarenas. Doesn't seem to be right under the chin, but he's punching his way inside.
Mascarenas has got to fight these hands off, but if he wants to escape, he's got to fight that bottom hook. It looked like he was going to reach down with his hand, which is not advisable. Yeah, it's dangerous.
They don't want to get that hand trapped.
Mascarenas, a calm, cool composure, but Suaskun all in on the attack thus far. Jason, the exact same entry into back control as he had over Michael Trunzo back in March.
Yeah, little calmer approach in his second fight, but same exact result so far. He's right on the back of Mascarenas and doing damage. Mascarenas keeps reaching down for that foot.
He needs a hip over and get his back onto the mat if he wants to escape, but he's not really picking a side. He's kind of floating back and forth between two. Potential ankle lock here. See if he can get it. Very rare to see in MMA or jiu-jitsu. Looks like he's going to let it go.
Suaskun remains atop, but Mascarenas doing everything he can to peel him off. Getting the crowd back into his favor is Mascarenas. But Suaskun not going out without a fight.
Yeah, looks like he's able to reverse that. Now he's on top, landing some big shots against the cage. And Suaskun's trying to get his hips going, but he's pinned up against that panel. He's got to make space. He's got to move. This is the last place you want to be. You cannot be pinned up here against the cage taking these shots, especially from a guy who's older and probably stronger, right? I mean, you lose something with age, but strength is not typically one of those things.
Yeah, especially at 30 years old. He's got his full strength right now, and he's raining down big shots on Suaskun.
He's got to move, or the referee's going to stop this fight. He's got to. Amateurs are not going to let this go on for much longer. He's going to have to move, and it looks like it's probably going to get called.
There it is! Nico Mascarenas, a star is born in Syracuse!
Now, one of the things I wanted to mention, when they both came in, Suaskun's 1-0, right? Mascarenas is making his debut. However, something to keep in mind, Suaskun's 19 years old. This place is going wild. Suaskun's 19 years old, right? At 19, with a 1-0 record in 43 seconds, you think you're invincible.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when you get into bad positions like Mascarenas got him in, things can go from bad to terrible in no time at all.
And this might just be a little bit of exhaustion from Suaskun here. I don't see that he's got any damage on him. I think he looks exhausted. The kid just looks exhausted. He exerted a lot of energy in that almost 3 minutes. You can see him smiling there. I think he's just exhausted.
He's fine. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
Jason, I can't remember the last time we got a pop like that.
This is amazing. Once again, I can't say enough about these Fierce Challenger Series fights. They are always phenomenal fights.
Suaskun back up to his feet. But Andrew, we actually do have the replay.
So Mascarenas has Suaskun pinned up here against the cage, and he's landing some big shots. Suaskun's doing a decent job of covering, but he's not moving, right? And so Mascarenas has a stationary target. Look how hard, I mean, all right hands, right? He didn't even switch hands. He just was holding down with his left and hammering away with his right. Referee had no choice but
to wrangle the fighters, and we will go inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans. Referee Dave Selya said it's called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 46 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Nico Mascarenas.
Nico, you got your mouthpiece out? Coming to this side here. I got to be on my good side. I got to have a good angle here. Ladies and gentlemen, here with your winner, Nico Mascarenas. Nico, that was a phenomenal fight, man. That was a high-paced match for your debut fight. Was that what you were expecting coming in here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, like, after his last performance, man, like, he killed it out there, so I was expecting him to bring it, you know?
Yeah, the kid's a stud. He brought it tonight. It was all energy. He had you in a tough spot in there. Did you feel like you were in any danger there?
A little bit. I was just listening to my coaches. I was over here on my corner, and they were just talking me through it. I felt okay.
I'm going to take a look at the screen over here. Walk you through this finish and kind of talk me through there. It looks like you're landing some big shots. Did you feel like you had it, that this was the end of the fight here?
I wasn't sure. He wasn't giving up, man. The kid's tough. I just kept going for it, listening to my coaches.
Are we going to see you back in the cage?
I think so. That was pretty fun.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, shout out to the wifey April. I love you so much. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible. My coaches, Keith and Boomer, thank you guys so much. All my teammates in Tula, you guys know who you are. Y'all got to stop sleeping on Tula. We train hard out there. We kick asses and we win fights. Shout out to my sponsors, AMJ Construction. Get a basement framed house built, hit them up. My boys, Ruben and Blotti, R&B Building Services. They do honest work. Hit them up for any of your heating and cooling related issues. Ooh.
Congratulations again. Give it up here, winner Nico Mascarenas. Oh, one more thing.
Happy birthday to my mama Tina, and happy birthday to my little sister Grace. I love you guys.
Congratulations once again.
Welcome back in to Warehouse 22 here in Syracuse, Utah for Fierce Challenger Series 10. Nico Mascarenas. That's a new name to remember, Andrew Boquette.
Yeah, it is, and I want to point out, and I'm sure everybody on the broadcast saw that, but as soon as Suskun didn't get up, Mascarenas was genuinely concerned for his opponent.
He really was. You got to give it out to that. Shout out to that kid. Was he 18, 19 years old, coming in here and doing this? And he's
fighting grown men.
He's fighting a grown man. Like, listen, you could see that strength difference. I believe you touched on it. There's an obvious strength difference there as you start to age and get into within that late 20s, early 30s.
1,000%. When I turned 30, 31, 32, and then I really started lifting, it absolutely changed my jiu-jitsu game.
Well,
and yeah, like there's a distinct. You can be 19 and you got to be really, really good to make up for that strength difference.
Well, when you get over 40, it's going to change even more.
Riker Wood and Walker Pelto, two of Idaho's finest, ready to make the walk. With that, let's go back inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, the last fight of the evening was sponsored by Sprinkleberry Cakes and Desserts, but we did the blurb for Java Express, so I'm going to do Sprinkleberry right now. Located in Clearfield, Utah, Sprinkleberry Cakes and Desserts by Raquel is the place to go for all things cupcakes, pies, custom cakes, desserts, and more. For your weddings, birthdays, special occasions, or even if you just have a sweet tooth you need to take care of, stop by Sprinkleberry Cakes by Raquel. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Riker Wood and then Walker Pelto to the cage.
Second time this year, first time in Utah. Enter Riker Wood. Jason, he scored a knockdown and a submission in under 2 minutes in the debut. Another showing like that, and we're looking at a new mainstay in the Utah-Idaho region.
Yeah, we could have a mainstay with Riker Wood. He looked phenomenal up there in Idaho when we saw him fight. I'm really curious tonight of what he's going to bring to the cage. He's bringing a lot of energy. He's happy, pumping up the crowd. You see him smiling there. Looked good at weigh-ins last night.
Andrew, MMA specifically for 8 months. He took fight number 1 with only 4 months of experience, but got it done in the first round.
Another one of those guys, right? I mean, so look at him. First of all, he's a big 185er, right? He's standing over there. He's considerably taller than everybody he's standing next to. And he looks, again, to be another athletic kid. And so anymore, it's you cannot trust when someone says, oh, I've been training for 4 months. Well, that might be true. You might have been doing, MMA for 4 months. You've been doing jiu-jitsu since you were 5? We don't really know anymore. And especially when it comes to athletes, right? People that are high-level athletes, it changes the dynamic of fights.
We see Lane Dalton in his corner out of Dark Horse BJJ and Eagle, Idaho. Dalton fighting Kamuela Mamone later on here tonight. That's going to be a big one on pay-per-view.
Oh, that's
Jason.
a big one. Anytime you see the last name Mamone on a fight card, you know it's going to be a banger.
Not just one, we got two.
We have two tonight.
Cannot wait for it. Riker Wood entering the cage second time in 2024. Excited to see how this one plays out at 185 pounds.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not realize we had both the Moan brothers on the card tonight. Wow.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a card.
Yes, sir.
Pay-per-view available currently at FierceFightingChampionship.com. Can't miss fighters on pay-per-view later on here tonight. All right, another debut falls under Walker Pelto. Andrew, a state champion wrestler last year up in Idaho. Interesting to see if that skill set can settle into this new venture.
Yeah, a lot of times you see these wrestlers, they make their they cross over, and I'm a firm believer, obviously, as everybody should be at this point, that wrestling is by far the best base for mixed martial arts. But there's a really, really big difference between wrestling on a wrestling mat, bent over at the waist, and wrestling inside of a cage, right? And in particular, it depends on your wrestling style. So if you're a guy who likes to hand fight and tie up and do some of those takedowns, it's not quite as applicable as a guy who likes to shoot blast doubles like a Jordan Burroughs type situation. So it does change. We'll have to see if he's able to implement that.
Jason, 44-2 his senior year on the mats.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. This kid, and once again, he's a debuter, but he's not a debuter. This guy's been under the lights before on the mats.
All right, before this bout beckons, let's see what flies off of the film at 185 pounds between Walker Pelto and Riker Wood. Wood, the older fighter by 2 years at 21 years of age, will also have the 4-inch height advantage coming into this one. Both identical at 184 pounds, tipping the scales yesterday. Walker Pelto to make his debut, Riker Wood with a record of 1-0.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Java Express. This fight is an amateur middleweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighed in at 184 pounds. Fighting out of Dark Horse Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Star, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Riker Wood! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 184 pounds. Fighting out of Memento Mori MMA, hailing from Montpelier, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Walker Pelto!
Debuting Walker Pelto sports the red gloves. Riker Wood answers in the blue. This amateur middleweight bout is brought to you by Java Express. Knock your taste buds out with a punch of deliciousness. Java Express, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Normally laugh at a guy like Riker and act like that before a fight, but after O'Malley fought Jan, I stopped laughing.
Andrew, how much is this size difference going to – is this going to make a difference?
Well, Walker's doing the right thing to make it not matter, right?
That's right. He went right to it.
Immediately on the – oh, my goodness.
And violence from Pelto.
So Riker needs to get to close guard here and slow this down because obviously Walker's real riled up. He needs to control him. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, control his posture, but he needs to push himself off of the cage here. And he's got a really good, tight, close guard. He's a long guy, so let's see if he can be offensive with that.
He's staying composed from the bottom so far.
He might be going for a Kimura or a bump sweep here.
Riker Wood's lone win was by submission. As for Walker Pelto, not a lot of intel.
He does not want Pelto sitting up because he was throwing some heavy shots.
No, and the number one thing he needs to do is get his head off of the cage. He has to turn. When your head's up against a cage like that, you have no offense. He has to move. And, okay, right, that was great, right? He got up, didn't stay up, but he got himself out of that position. Looks like Walker's fixing to pin him right back up again, though. It is absolutely essential that he does not let himself get pinned up against the cage like that again. He cannot be there.
I'd like to see him use his legs a little bit more instead of keeping that guard closed, maybe open it up and try to use those legs to push away like he did.
He might It looked like he was trying to set up an armbar there, but right back to the closed guard.
Pelto peppers in a shot quickly. Riker brings him back into his guard. Riker Wood opened with that flashy kick, but that was what ended up putting him on the mat.
He's looking for that bump sweep that I was talking about before. His corner is calling for him to get a knee across and make some space, but you can't do that when you're up against the cage. He's got to push off and there. Oh, but right back to it. Walker is being extremely disciplined about driving him up against the cage here.
Again, Walker Pelto, a state champion wrestler in Idaho in the two-way class just last year, as he throws another shot at Wood.
And look, this is Chael Sonnen 101, right? He's controlling him. Not a ton of damage, but enough to make you not want to get hit. Pin your guy up against the cage and control the fight.
Good head control, pushing his head against Woods, making the fight ugly for him.
I don't think Walker's even considering passing the guard here. He seems to be controlling so well from inside Riker's closed guard. I guess, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Riker Wood, a jiu-jitsu blue belt at present. Trying to move a little bit from the bottom, but again, Pelto playing his game thus far.
Riker is aware now that he has to get himself off the cage. He's actively trying to make it happen. Short time.
Pelto presses up against Wood. Final seconds, round one.
Make some noise for round
one. The pressure is turned up, and Walker Pelto currently in front.
He's not even breathing hard either. Like, he's obviously an extremely well-conditioned athlete. If he's able to keep doing that, he's going to get an easy decision, if not a finish here. That was an extremely good round for Walker. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, heavy pressure the whole first round. Landed some big shots to end the round. We'll see if Wood can try to keep it on his feet.
Or at least get on top. You can't be underneath wrestlers, right? A lot of times when you fight a wrestler, there's so much emphasis on not going to the ground, but that's not always the case. Wrestlers spend so much time on top of people that very often, if you can put them on their back, you put them on the back foot, and they're not always good, right? Like, how often do you think a guy like Walker is training with somebody on top of him smashing him? Probably not that often. He probably spends the vast majority of his time in his gym on top. So that could also be an option, but I've got to agree. If I'm in Riker's corner, I'm telling him, you need to circle off and use your jab.
Top of round two we go. Walker Pelto out of Memento Mori, a newer gym up in Idaho, still in its infancy. It opened back up in 2023. Riker Wood, as we kick off the top of round two, in uncharted territory. His first win was by a first-round submission.
Riker's got to move his feet. He can't be sitting planted like this. He's got to move.
Yeah,
he's a move and he's a circle. Oh, my goodness.
Swung for the fences, but finds himself back in a familiar spot.
And again, Walker was able to do that because Riker backed straight up. He has to circle. If you back straight up on a wrestler and there's a cage behind you, you're going to the mat. He's got to move. He's got to move his feet.
Jason, they're talking back and forth a little bit, too.
Yeah, I didn't hear what each one was saying to each other, but I like it. I'm here for it. And they're right in front of us.
Pelto invests into the body.
And that's the wrestler special, right? Body, body, head. Body, body, head. Like, it's a mantra almost in MMA gyms at this point. And there's a reason it still works. There we go.
Pelto passes.
Riker's doing a good job getting that knee inside. Looking like he's going for a buggy choke.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend this in an MMA fight, but maybe he knows something I don't.
I don't know if it picked up in the camera.
That's probably why I wouldn't recommend it, right? But doing that sometimes can make yourself go into the choke. Okay, he actually made it a little deeper for himself there when he did that.
Pelto doesn't look like he's in any trouble. It doesn't look like he's in any danger.
He's not in a great spot either. Initially, he was okay, but when he picked him up and slammed him there, I mean, you can look at his face. That got a little tighter. This went from almost, okay, now it looks like he's going to be able to get out. Perfect. All right, there we go.
Pelto strong.
Pelto moves into mount and now punishes from the top, raining down shots.
Yeah, that buggy choke might have been a little bit of a Hail Mary there because as soon as it didn't work, things got really fast, and this gift wrap may seal the deal here.
Pelto in a prime position to finish this one. 1 minute to go, round two. Plenty of time to work as he bounces the head off of the canvas.
And he's going to transition to a head and arm choke here, and it's deep already, but Riker's doing the right thing. He's trying to answer the phone, going behind the leg. Good defense here by Riker.
I'd like to see Pelto get his knee on the stomach right here to finish that.
We'll see if he's going to try to finish this on top here, but he should be out of it. Now, this is another bad spot. Riker's going to have to explode and turn towards him, which is tough when a guy's hammering your head. And these are not soft shots. We can hear these, can't we?
Pelto now able to wrap up the rear naked choke. There's the tap. Walker Pelto taking care of business in the debut.
That was very offensive on the ground there. That was some nice work by Riker, or by Walker, excuse me.
Dominant performance.
Back-to-back emphatic finishes. Walker Pelto, a new name to remember up in Idaho.
That was pretty dominant. As far as like a fighter, an amateur making his debut, to control the action like that's pretty impressive. He really was never in trouble at all. Controlled the fight the entire time. I don't even know if he got hit. Do you remember him getting hit? That was an incredible fight, especially for a debut. Really good stuff there.
All right, this replay is brought to you by.
So here we go. We got gift wrap control while he's mounted on top of him, hammering away at the head. Being very disciplined, by the way, about not hitting to the back of the head and possibly getting a reset on the action. Goes to the choke, got one hook in, but I think at that point was everything leading up to the choke, and sometimes that's enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be, effective. And Walker Pelto certainly effective in his onslaught while they're on the ground.
All smiles on the side of Memento Mori as Walker Pelto is going to advance to 1-0. Looks like we are just about ready to make it official. We'll kick it back inside to Jackson Hopes.
Here stands referee Dave Selyuset has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes 29 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke. Out of the red corner, Walker Pelto.
All right, you got your mouthpiece out? Now he does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with your winner, Walter Pelto. Walter, that was a pretty dominant performance for your debut. Were you expecting that coming here tonight?
Yes.
Well, you look super composed. You look like a veteran in there tonight. You're 1-0 now, dominant performance. Where do you go from here, man?
Keep on fighting.
I love it. A man of few words. Any sponsors, family, friends you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, I want to thank God. I want to thank my family, my coaches, my friends, Cash Valley, MMA, Colossal Fight Company, Memento Mori, and everybody who helped me train.
I love it. Can't wait to have you back in here, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for your winner, Walter Pelto.
Hard to win. You should have another one to go. And people ask me all the time, bro, you're 37. You train so hard. I'm going to show you guys a secret. What get me going? This is what get me going. Yoshi Hydro, developed by one of the best dietitians, Marcelo Frel. That's the first thing that I take. I've been taking after weighing. So I go to UFC and make the weight. That's the first thing that I take for recovery. And that's the thing that's going to get me going to the next session. Yoshi Hydro. I told you guys, the second round is done. Yoshi Hydro. That thing going to get you going. Make sure you get yours.
Back inside Warehouse 22, and you can scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Jason, Walker Pelto, Nico Mascarenhas back-to-back. Performance of the night competitors right there in front of us.
I like this Pelto kid. That kid showed a lot of composure for a debut. He's a young kid, a lot of composure, a lot of cage control. Watch out for that kid.
Andrew, lots of promise between these two debuters that we've seen in front of us, not to mention Micah Murdoch, who pulled out a nice decision win as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When you see a guy like Walker come in there and he controls the fight like that with his background, which is wrestling, and not get tired and not get crazy because of the pressure and everything, that's scary, right? He's not even good yet. For his own skill level, he's not good yet. It's going to be really interesting to see where that guy ends up. If he continues going a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, he's going to be terrifying.
Non-stop action here in Syracuse, Utah, Fierce Challenger Series 10. We'll see if that trend continues here at 125 pounds between Dante Morales and Devin Monty. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Drip Swag. Are you looking for promotional products? At Drip Swag, they will supply your company with every possible promotional product from over 3,000 suppliers. Visit them online to find all sorts of apparel, bags, writing instruments, tech products, and drinkware to boost your return on investment and leave a lasting impression with your customers. Drip Swag, the pro in promo. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Devin Monty and then Dante Morales to the cage.
New and improved after nearly 7 years removed, enter Devin Monty. Andrew, from a young 18-year-old independent to now 24 years old at one of the highest touted gyms in the country, excited to see where the upgrades have taken place.
Yeah, Syndicate's got some dogs, and sometimes those fighters that take 7-year breaks, they come back and they're firing on all cylinders. So.
Sounds like someone we know.
Yours truly, right? If myself, that whole 7 years I was training, and so we don't know, right? But if Devin has spent that whole time working on his skill set, he's going to be a formidable opponent. And he obviously comes from a great gym. So,
Jason, talking about Syndicate MMA, where he comes from, we've seen Nasir Davis, Xiao Luo, who was in the corner here tonight, Armandel Cameron, all light up the Fierce Cage in 2024. 3-1 as a gym, the most successful out-of-state gym here in Utah this year.
Yeah, anytime you see anybody with this Syndicate MMA name on, you know they're going to be prepared. I would venture to say, and I'd put my money on, this kid's probably been training these last 7 years and getting ready for this, so they wouldn't have him up here.
All right, sophomore slate is set for Aguima's Dante Morales. Jason, 1-0 at present, another new name for us to witness out of Provo.
I always love, once again, I love talking about these Aguima guys. They always come prepared. They got a great gym down there. Dante Morales 1-0. Let's see if he can represent for the Utah crowd tonight.
Over 5 years of training between his time in Florida and Utah. Also a former teammate of Jose Malaspin, who fought in February at the Maverick Center opposite Mauro Gutierrez. That was one of the best fights of the year, Andrew.
Yeah, it was. It was a phenomenal fight, and if he follows it up with anything like that, we're in for a show.
Speaking of Mauro, did I see that he got an LFA fight?
He did.
Shout out to Mauro Gutierrez.
Jason, Aguima 6-6 coming into today. Micah Murdoch getting that win. We'll see if Dante Morales can continue with the winning ways.
Yeah, I just can't speak highly enough of these Fierce Challenger fights, and you get these guys that are 0-0, 1-0, 0-1, and they just keep getting better and better, testing their skills inside the cage. I love it.
All right, let's see what jumps off the film as we pull up our tale of the tape presented by Rush Hydro. At 125 pounds between Dante Morales and Devin Monty. Monty, 5 years senior coming into this one, also will have the 2-inch height advantage. Morales weighing in at 125.5 pounds. Monty weighing in at 125 flat. Morales with a record of 1-0. Monty with a record of 0-1. With all that out of the way, let's kick it back inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Drip Swag. This fight is an amateur flyweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 125 pounds. Fighting out of Syndicate MMA, hailing from Lowell, Massachusetts. Fierce fans, make some noise for Devin Monty Python. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighed in at 121.5 pounds. Fighting out of Aguima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Provo, Utah by way of Miami, Florida. Fierce fans, make some noise for Dante, the Apex Predator Morales.
Back on the horse is Dante Morales in the red gloves. The long-awaited return for Devin Monty proceeds in the blue. This amateur flyweight bout is brought to you by Drip Swag. Create your own custom Spirit swag and see it come to life. Drip Swag, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Morales looks like Brendan Myers there.
Myers in his corner. He's been a reliable resource for him as Monty attacks upstairs early with a snapping shot.
Solid leg kick by Morales.
I do not love the way, shin to shin there, you don't like that. I do not like the way that Devin's floating his left hand down there, especially in MMA where overhand rights are so prevalent. He's got to be careful of that, especially with a guy that's as explosive as Dante.
Dante Morales fought back in February down in St. George, Utah. A 1,500-foot elevation jump here tonight. He converges perfectly and finds himself on the back of Devin Monty.
That was as good of a takedown as you're going to get. I mean, that was literally picture perfect, beautiful. Turned him up in the air, middle of the cage, and drove him right to the panel. You'd love to see that. Devin has got to work. He needs to concede this position. I know sometimes you might want to build yourself back up, but his back's been taken. He needs to concede this, get to the side, and start working on an escape.
Devin Monty, though it was back in 2017, his lone loss is by submission. It was a guillotine. As for Dante Morales, his lone win back in February was by a submission.
Devin needs to be fighting this bottom hook, pushing that down and making room to escape here. As it is right now, he's given Dante a lot of time to work.
Morales back on the back where he was in his first fight. He was a little high and was perfectly able to transition into an armbar. Seems to be in a better position right now as Monty fights the hands.
Looks like Devin is going to be able to potentially get up here, but if he does, he's in a really compromised position. Especially with these smaller guys, they're still able to take your back on the way up. Dante might be getting a little bit high here, though. I like the way that Devin is wrapping the hands up. Dante's trying to get that top hook in. You know, not a lot going on here, but if the round does stay like this, Devin is going to concede this first round, which you don't necessarily want to see, and Dante's basically going to get a free 1-0 lead over in this fight.
Able to get that second hook in, and now in the process of flattening him out, Monty Valiant in the pursuit of getting back to some sort of position to get out of this.
Devin's doing a great job of keeping those hands wrapped up, and as long as he does that, especially with these gloves on, he'll be okay. But flattened out on the mat, you know, you're kind of biding time here. And there he goes, he's building himself back up. Dante with the body triangle, but with only 10 seconds left, probably not going to be able to do much with it. That being said, as I indicated, does give up the first round due to control.
That'll close out round one. Jason, your thoughts through 3 minutes?
Yeah, not quite the action-packed rounds we saw in our previous fights, but it went to the ground. We saw some little hand fighting in there. Morales getting the back of Dante. Or Monty, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to get these guys' names. Their names are so similar. I'm probably going to mess these up for the people watching at home.
You know what that does? That fighting style does tell me about Dante is that Dante is cool and composed, right? He was in some positions where if he wanted to, he could have created space and landed some shots, but in doing so, he knows he would have given Devin the room that he needed to escape, right? It's sort of a double-edged sword here when you're landing strikes on the ground. Instead, he chose, which in my opinion is the smarter thing to do, control the action, stay on top, keep your dominant position, and just win the round.
Dante Morales' first fight went to only a first round. This one moving in to the second. We'll have to see how the gas tank holds up, but seems to be fresh as can be. Headed into the top of the third. Again, this is the fourth of 6 here on our prelims, live on YouTube. We will move the pay-per-view over to FierceFightingChampionship.com. Still available for purchase right now. Monty quick with that jab, similar to how he kicked off round one.
Seems like everybody we see from Syndicate, sharp striking from all the Syndicate fighters.
Well, he's got the build for it, right? He's tall, he's skinny, he's long, and it's what you want. I am, like I said, concerned with how low he's keeping his hands against an explosive wrestler like this. When wrestlers can't take you down, they throw overhand rights, and you know he's in the way for that. So
I feel like Morales is just searching for that. He's looking for it.
Morales getting tricky with the kicks as he lands upstairs.
Devin's got to start getting that jab in his face.
There's that takedown.
Beautiful.
Morales turns on the Jets, able to close the distance, and Monty back on bottom.
Wrap the legs up. Let's see if he goes for the Dagestani Mermaid here. It looks like he'll settle for half guard instead.
Nice hip control from Morales.
Devin doesn't want to concede this, but he will.
Yeah.
I really would rather see Devin fight an underhook to a single leg here as opposed to hanging on to the head that's not doing much for him. He's going to get past the side control for it.
And he's got that arm. Looks like he's trying to trap that right arm of Monty's is Morales. And he's in full mount now.
Yeah, this is a bad spot. This is a deep mount. They're close to the cage. Devin's doing a good job, though. He's not settling. He's forcing Dante to work with him, and that's great. Dante did a phenomenal job there keeping the hooks in. It looks like he's working for hard to see. Oh.
There's the tap. A second straight submission for Dante Morales. He's going to move to 2-0.
The speed at which he was able to land those takedowns with was really, really impressive.
Yeah, he looked good. Smooth transitions on the ground, too. Took him down, tied him up.
It's super impressive when you see a fighter come in without, he doesn't have experience, right? He's a new fighter. And he didn't just press, he didn't force the takedown. He allowed the takedown to come to him. He did as much striking as he needed to do, threw some kicks, got Devin thinking about the striking, and only then did he shoot in for those takedowns, and it paid off.
Some jubilation on the side of Dante Morales, the embrace from head coach Dana Risizabal, as well as with Brendan Myers just a few moments ago. Devin Monty slides to 0-2. Dante Morales is going to move up to 2-0. Another slick finish here in Syracuse, Utah, Andrew.
Yeah, that was another dominant display of ground control. And if you guys haven't noticed on TV in these amateur fights, being good on the ground wins fights. You will win and lose by your jiu-jitsu and your wrestling in these amateur fights. Striking is so difficult to be good at. And when you're this early into your career, very few people are a natural at it. Taking the fight to the ground, slowing down the pace of it, and being able to dominate on top in particular is a surefire pathway to winning fights.
All right. With that, we're going to make it official right now inside with our man, Jackson Hoops.
Here stands referee Dave Sellius that has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute and 51 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke out of the red corner, Dante the Apex Predator Morales.
Dante, you act like you've been here before, man. What's going on?
I feel good, man. I feel phenomenal. I have so much support. I'm extremely grateful, man. I just got people to thank, to be honest. I don't have any trash to talk or anything. I just got people I gotta thank. A lot of people say that the haters motivate them. I have no haters, man. Everybody supports me. Everybody believes in me. I'm overwhelmed by the support I have. All my friends, my dad flew out from Miami to watch me. Everybody who's watching at home, let me just thank Akima Jiu-Jitsu MMA, Dane, Core McGee, my buddy Brandon, all my training partners. I want to thank Freedom Fighters MMA back in Miami, Ray, Manolo, all my Ferguson wrestler coaches and teammates. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my beautiful girlfriend, Anais, who's my rock. She's my world. I can't do this without her, and I want to give a special thanks to my father. It's Father's Day tomorrow, and my dad flew here from Miami just to watch me. Así que, papá, te amo. Feliz Día de los Padres. Significa el mundo para mí que estés aquí, viéndome y soportándome. Te amo, papá. Muchas gracias. Lo hago por ti, papá. So thank you, and that's it, man. I want to get back here soon. I want to stay active. There's a couple events in the summer. I want to do it, man. So get me in there, because I want to stay active. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'll do it again.
I love it. Congratulations again, Dante Morales. That was a phenomenal performance, man. Can't wait to see you back. Dante Morales, everyone.
Welcome back inside to Fierce Challenger Series 10, presented by Rush Hydro. Blake O'Rulian alongside Jason Laporte and Andrew Boquette. Dante Morales seems to be another new name. And Jason, we've talked about this for years. This is what Challenger Series is all about. Finding those guys that nobody really knows about just yet, and then they come and reach their peak right here at the Fierce Challenger Series.
I think we found one in Dante Morales. That was about as cool, calm, and collected as you could be in the cage. Dominant performance. I'll let Andrew talk about all the transitions because he's been in the cage before. But that was a great performance by Morales.
Yeah, I mean, he did a phenomenal job. He was really composed, as I was talking about at the end of the first round. He didn't rush his finish, and that's something that amateurs, myself included, I've done it before too. You rush a finish, right? The guy's not really quite ready to go. You burn your wad trying to get the guy out of there. He's not out of there because he's a little tougher than you expected, right? And now you're tired. And what was once a dominant, easy win is now a lot more difficult because you didn't keep yourself composed, but he didn't fall into that trap. Took the guy down, controlled him, waited for a spot, got into the second round, did the same thing, and then finished his guy. It was really good.
3 straight finishes. We will see if the next follow suit at 135 pounds. With that, let's kick it back inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Ogden's Own Distillery. Handcrafted is their business, and at Ogden's Own Distillery, they craft spirits that tells the stories of our lives. Born in 2009 and built in the shadows of Wasatch Mountains in Ogden, Utah, they now have a 32,000 square foot facility that includes a retail store, tasting room, outdoor amphitheater, and a sidebar where each of their brands are handcrafted by their dedicated team. Drink responsibly, drink smart, drink Five Guys Vodka and Porter's Whiskey, both crafted by the Ogden's Own Distillery family. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Jackson Judd and then Dylan Bolt to the cage.
Two weeks notice, but plenty of prep time precedes it. Enter Jackson Judd. Jason, a short window from signing on the dotted line to the walk, but 6 years of wrestling back the resume of the 23-year-old.
Yeah, a little new. Do we have a new gym here in Logan? Top Defense Martial Arts Academy. That's a new one for us, I believe.
It is a new one, yes.
Did I just steal one of your stats, Blake?
No, you absolutely didn't. A blue belt with 19 tournament wins as well back him coming into this. So wrestling, jiu-jitsu, I think we're going to see a little bit of grappling in this one, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, we should. You know, Dylan Bolt, all transparency, is one of my teammates, and obviously we train with Jeremy Horn. Whether we like it or not, we're forced to grapple. So, and a lot of time we don't like to, but you don't really have a choice. And so, yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to see some grappling in this fight. I'd be shocked if we did.
Jason, when we're talking about Jackson Judd, a state placer back in 2019, excited to see where he's grown from that young high school student to now 23 years of age.
Yeah, really excited to see what he brings tonight. Having that wrestling background, once again, gives him a little bit of experience. He's been out there. He's competed before. He's a competitor. Taking this fight on short notice, he'll be ready tonight.
You know, one of the things that people always like to talk about with wrestling is how dominant the skill set is, how effective it is to get somebody to the mat. But something people often overlook is when you're wrestling like that, you compete all the time. You're winning and you're losing all the time and you're performing all the time, and that means a lot.
Wrong camera angle on that, fellas, but we will go. First time in a long time. Happy to have him back is Dylan Bolt. Andrew, a guy you've shared the room with for years at this point, someone who packs a punch and looks to get back on track here tonight.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that. We've shared a room for years because we have, but in my eyes, Dylan's still a new guy at our gym, right? Like, it's kind of a funny thing because he has been training with us now 4 years and he has 3 fights. But Dylan, super interesting. When he first started, like, I'll be honest, and he would admit to it too, he was not good. He has willed himself to get himself to the point where he is as competent of a fighter as he is, and I'm excited to watch him compete and, you know, see how he does.
Jason, his last 2 fights, he has 1 win and 1 loss, only landed 4 total strikes in his last 2 fights, but he heaves a heavy left hand.
Yeah, he's got a huge left hand, and if it lands, we're gonna see a knockout tonight.
All right, tail of the tape time presented by Rush Hydro. Dylan Bolt and Jackson Judd. Bolt 4 years senior, also will stand 4 inches taller. Both fighters weighing in at 133.5 pounds. Dylan Bolt a little bit more tread on the tires with a record of 2-1. Jackson Judd to make his debut right now. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Ogden's Own Distillery. This fight is an amateur bantamweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyestead. Introducing the first fighter fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 133 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of TDF Martial Arts Academy, hailing from Logan, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Jackson the Lion Judd. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 133 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Jeremy Horn's Elite Performance MMA, hailing from Salt Lake City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Dylan the Business Bold.
Long layoff, but back is Dylan Bolt in the red gloves. Final debuter tonight is Jackson Judd, the dance partner, in blue gloves. This amateur bantamweight bout is brought to you by Ogden's Own. Crafted to be enjoyed responsibly, Ogden's Own, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Judging by appearance here, Dylan looks like he is considerably more nervous than Jackson, but we'll see if that comes out in the fighting. Dylan leading with a lot of front leg kicks, which I don't really love to see.
Bolt closes the distance and immediately takes down Judd. Only 20 seconds in.
You know, this is something we've been working a lot at the gym, is getting Dylan to engage in the grappling. Nice to see him doing it. Here we got a little scramble going on. Sue ends up on top.
Judd finds his way seamlessly to the top, now wrapping up.
Looks like he's got that locked in.
And that's tight.
It looks tight, locked in. Dylan's got to fight. He's got to get his hands up and pull that hand away or escape the hip. He's got to pick something and go for it.
There's the tap. Jackson Judd, a 5-star finish in Syracuse.
That was quick.
He was fast. As soon as they took the back, he just attacked immediately. He was smart. Dylan didn't quite have enough time. He was a little too slow. He didn't pick. He was between fighting the hands and then fighting the feet. He picked one. He picked the other. You got to stick with one. He didn't, and Jackson was able to lock that in.
Jackson Judd fired up. Dylan Bolt a little bit frustrated as we stay on Jackson. Thrill on one side, agony on the other. But under a minute of work to take care of things in the debut, Andrew.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it hurts, and Dylan's not a bad guy. He's a great guy, but when you train so hard for something, you put so much work into it, and then to have a result like that, it hurts. It's the loneliest sport in the world, as they say.
All right, looks like we are just about ready to make things official. We'll wait a few moments as Jackson Hopes is ready to go. Dave Selyestead to bring the fighters back over to the center. All right, here is Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyestead has called a stop to this contest at 47 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke out of the blue corner, Jackson the Lion Judd.
Hey, Jackson, come on over here, man. Let's interview you. Our interview might be longer than your fight, man. Were you expecting that tonight? You came in here and made quick work in your debut.
Yeah, so, I mean, my coach said to feel out of the first round, but he said if something comes up, just go for it. So that's where we are. And I want to thank him. My coach made me a fighter. My dad's here. He made me a man. I appreciate that. Love my family. I mean, next opponent isn't really going to know what I can do because they didn't see much of it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to take a look at the screen up here and walk me through that replay. This transition here. Well, it's already in, so I'm not going to have you walk me through it because you got it in there so quickly. Great performance. Did you see that coming up there? Did you feel?
I mean, I was calm in my grappling. I know my grappling's solid in my wrestling. So, you know, he shot. I wasn't really like thinking about the shot, but I wasn't worried about him like getting the best of me on the ground.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, just my parents, my brothers are here, and yeah. That's it.
Give it up for Jackson Judd. You've defended the belt now. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
This guy right over here, Nate Reinhardt, this is his next.
He's kind of set the bar for that bantamweight division.
I don't know if there is a more fluid striker at the amateur level.
The Steer's starting to pick him apart now.
There it is! Nasir Davis is unbelievable!
That right hand was nuclear.
No one is going to stop this kid.
Got the crowd on their feet, Blake.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Welcome back in, everyone, to Syracuse, Utah, live from Warehouse 22. A new venue, a packed house, and a lot to still look forward to. Final fight here on the prelims. Jason, it's lived up to its expectations.
It has definitely lived up to its expectations.
DJ
Challenger
Dre
Series
on the
never
ones
disappoints. We got a new gym to look out for here in Utah. That's impressive.
Cannot wait for it. Andrew, your thoughts on Jackson Judd getting it done?
I mean, it was a great performance, right? Like, Dylan came out, and as he said when you were talking to him, Jason, he was expecting the takedown. I was also not expecting the takedown. It was actually a very good takedown. But the problem was, once they hit the mat, Dylan settled. Jackson refused to, worked his way into a really solid position, and then I think it was just the speed. The speed at which he did it didn't give Dylan enough time to react. It was really good.
Yeah, as soon as he wrapped over, that arm was right under the neck before they even completed the transition. The arm was already under the neck.
All right. All right, two middleweights still to close out the prelims. Here is Michael Pfeiffer and Taylor Mafileo. With that, let's bring them out with Jackson Hopes.
Final fight of the preliminary card is sponsored by Bet Openly. Bet Openly is a platform for peer-to-peer sports betting where users create and take bets on various events. Their model saves you and all of their users measurable amounts of money, both short and long term. Safely bet with anyone, use instant DFS player prop parlays, and bet directly with friends with no fees. Head on over to betopenly.com and win big with Bet Openly. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Michael Pfeiffer and then Taylor Mafileo to the cage.
All right, making way towards the cage once again is Michael Pfeiffer. Andrew, 8 months now as an amateur with some considerable reps clocked in at only 22 years old.
So, yeah, this is going to be a really exciting fight. Michael, when he was warming up in the cage, was literally running across the cage, jumping off like almost the top of it, and like throwing a Anthony Pettis ninja-style kick. Like, it was pretty wild. And I'm a Taekwondo guy, and I was impressed. So it was pretty cool. The other thing we know is he's from Gladiator Fight Academy. What I can tell you about that is that he has gone through absolute wars, and he's gotten beat up a lot. So he's already a tough guy. We know that. Otherwise, Ned wouldn't be letting him in the cage.
Made his debut back in October, already his fourth fight here tonight. Jason, he was able to show off his hands a little bit more in his last showing. Seems to be finding his footing there in the MMA cage.
Yeah, he's going to need his hands tonight against Taylor Mafileo, so we'll see how much he's tightened those up.
This bout was originally scheduled for October of last year. Pfeiffer suffered a back injury, but we have it here 8 months later. It was supposed to be up in Heber, Utah, but we get it here a few months later.
I like it. I can't wait for this fight. This is one that I had highlighted on my list of fights to possibly fight of the night here.
Michael's got essentially the perfect build that you want to see for a striker, too. Not too muscular, not super lean, right? He's perfect. Real tall, long limbs, and super athletic.
Well, the finish was rapid in the return, and now back is Taylor Mafileo. Jason, It only took 6 shots to roll credits in his last outing. Left a lot to look forward to in this second wind of his MMA career.
He came out with a lot of steam in his last fight, landed some big shots, got a good quick finish. Over there you see Marco Sanchez is in his corner, little brother of former Fierce FC heavyweight champ Kent Mafaleo.
Kent Mafaleo sitting front row over here. Not in his brother's corner, which is very often actually a really good decision. Sometimes when you care about someone as much as your little brother, you coach them a little differently, and I know that the Mafaleos don't want that, right? They want to be all business in there.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about Taylor Mafaleo, his first 2 fights went the full time. His third only took 19 seconds. That was back after 4.5 years, 6 months off. He's back in there once again, Jason.
Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. I want to see this one go a little bit longer than Taylor's last fight, see if we can see a little bit more of the striking.
All right, let's see what flies off the film with this Tale of the Tape presented by Rush Hydro. Taylor Mafaleo facing opposite Michael Pfeiffer. 11-year senior is Mafaleo. Pfeiffer, however, will stand taller than Taylor by 6 inches. Michael Pfeiffer weighing in at 186 pounds. Taylor Mafaleo matches that. Also an identical record at 2-1. With that, let's go back inside to Jackson Hooks.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Bet Openly. This fight is an amateur middleweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed in at 186 pounds, fighting out of Gladiator Fight Academy and One Hit MMA, hailing from San Diego, California. Fierce fans, make some noise for Suburban Mike Pfeiffer! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and also weighed in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Rise Boxing and Classic Fight Team, hailing from West Valley City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Taylor Mafaleo!
Third fight of 2024 for Michael Pfeiffer, challenging in the blue gloves. Taylor Mafaleo awaits opposite in the red. This amateur middleweight bout to headline our prelims is brought to you by Bet Openly. Peer-to-peer sports betting, perfectly legal anywhere in the U.S. Bet Openly, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
These guys are all business right now.
Oh, yeah. There's that kick.
That's about what I expected from Michael. If I was him, I'd be trying to hit my jab and circle off.
Pfeiffer immediately lands the takedown. Mafaleo on his back. And Jason, we have seen so much control time against Pfeiffer through his first 3 fights. Now we see him doing the damage.
Yeah, now that was a nice takedown, and this is what he needed to do against a guy like Mafaleo who has those heavy hands.
Look, and it's no secret, right? Like, your last name's Mafaleo. You're going to be powerful, especially in that first round. You're going to be explosive. This is actually a very heads-up move on his part.
Mafaleo able to settle the push, stands back up and puts Pfeiffer up against the cage.
I like the composure from Mafaleo.
He's doing a good job. He needs to use his head. There we go. He's starting to use his head now to pin him against the cage. A little higher underhook. There he goes. That's exactly what we want to see. So clearly he's been working on this against the cage. Michael's going to need to pummel back inside. A little unadvised throw there. Loses control.
Pfeiffer utilizing his length thus far. A couple of teeps early here in round number 1.
He needs to be careful. Yep, he needs to be careful backing up against the cage like that against a guy who wants to throw.
Taylor tags and Pfeiffer sends him back to the canvas. Pfeiffer now chasing the back once again.
This is not a good position for Taylor at all. This is very bad, and it looks like if Michael's able to get his right hook inside, he's going to get flattened out. You definitely don't want to see that. These long guys, when they're on your back, are very, very hard to deal with.
Mafaleo controlling that outside arm.
Michael Pfeiffer unbeaten at 185 pounds. His lone loss was actually a late replacement fight against Jason Ergel.
Where Michael doesn't have that bottom hook in, Taylor needs to... there we go. Okay, he's going to fight it. Looks like he's going to fight it and try to step over. Little bit too late, though. These are just those little mistakes that you make as an amateur. This will get addressed in the gym, right? But these are some of the things that you see sometimes when not quite as experienced.
we saw Mafaleo drop that hand down too to try to fight the arm there, and as soon as he did that, Pfeiffer was on it.
It was just a little bit too late.
Pfeiffer seeming to be comfortable here, tallying up control time, but also working through some submission attempts as he's chasing the back for that rear naked choke, Jason.
It looks like that Michael is just going to try to get on Taylor and crank him. I will tell you, there we go, beautiful. Big shots here from Taylor Mafaleo.
Taylor turns the tides, gets a pop from the crowd as well. And now framing on the face a bit with the final 10 seconds to go.
Those are heavy shots raining down from Taylor Mafaleo.
So now you've made it a difficult decision for the judge, right? Because it's probably going to go into the second round. How do you score that? Do you score the control, which was certainly in Michael's favor, but damage, Taylor got the better shot. So now you go from a round where you clearly were winning, maybe you should have just, stalled it out a little bit to maybe you did lose that round, right?
It's going to be very close because you usually want to lead towards the side of damage and who's closer to ending the fight, but you could also say Pfeiffer was close to ending the fight with the rear naked choke in a couple of times, but Taylor landing the big shots in the fight. I'll be really curious to see how the judging comes out on this one.
We're in the corner of Michael Pfeiffer currently. Andrew, if you were in that corner, what would you be saying to him right now?
Okay, so I think that the wrestling for sure is what he needs to be doing, right? Now, he's made it out of the worst because that first round, especially when you have an opponent, like, let's be honest, it's Polynesian. He's going to hit you hard and he's going to be explosive. You want to take the fight to the ground at the beginning of the fight. He did that effectively. Now he might have a little bit more wiggle room to strike, move. He's clearly a really dynamic guy, but if I was Ned, I'd be telling him to take him back to the ground.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he had good control down there. I'd like to see him land a little bit of damage when he gets in those dominant positions. Maybe try to soften Taylor up.
Now, if I'm Taylor, I'm circling and I'm throwing heavy leather because every time Michael's throwing kicks, which he is doing a lot, he's dropping his hands every single time. And I know if I saw it, Marco saw it, so.
Pfeiffer, Superman's off of the cage. Mafileo able to get out of the way of the attack. Attacks the body as Pfeiffer closes the distance.
I don't know if kicks are the most advisable thing for Taylor to be doing against a guy who wants to take him down.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I feel like Pfeiffer was just waiting for that to happen. This is what you want to see from Mafileo.
Exactly what you want to see, especially when you got your opponent against the warning track like this.
Mafileo attacks the lead leg and rips to the body as well. Now the combination's coming together. Pfeiffer fights back with a knee to the body as well.
Yeah, the last thing Michael wants to be doing here as a tall guy is laying back against the cage and throwing heavy leather against an opponent who seems to be hitting a lot harder than you are. Like, he needs to be a little bit more composed in this. Digging the underhooks here. Taylor might be able to have a takedown if he feels so inclined.
Pfeiffer fighting well, 6 inches taller.
Taylor needs to get a little bit lower under the butt. He's riding a little bit high with his hands. Michael's holding hard with his underhook. Taylor doing a really good job of keeping his head pressed up against Michael. You see where he has his head pressed up against him on the cage like that? Makes it extremely difficult to circle off. Probably going to see some knees here from Taylor, I would presume. Michael's doing a good job keeping his head off, though.
There's one as Pfeiffer punches out of that one. Mafileo now on the back foot.
That one got Taylor's attention.
Yeah, he's breathing pretty heavy right now.
And blinking his eyes, so that one definitely hurt him. It looks like
he ate a pretty big knee about 30 seconds ago. Pfeiffer had that Muay Thai clinch and landed a big knee.
Looks like a lot of this fight is going to take place on the clinch. And for you guys at home, what you're going to want to be seeing here and looking out for, underhook control and head placement, particularly of the guy who is towards the center of the cage.
Dave Sellistedt separates.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that. That was not a very good call in my opinion. They were active and breaking up that position. I don't know about that one.
Mafileo swings for the fences. Unable to get past the guard of Pfeiffer, but that one does.
Again, really disciplined with his head position. I'd love to see Taylor take his left leg, split Michael's legs, and try to get a hard overhook and drive him to the mat. I can't imagine having Taylor Mafileo on top of you as strong as he is a great feeling.
Just under 30 seconds left here in round number 2.
They seem to be content here, just kind of hanging on. Michael's certainly going to lose this round if he just hangs out here.
Dave wants action tonight.
Apparently.
Dave is like, we want action tonight.
Perhaps I'm the odd man out here. I'm more of a purist. I like to see positions kind of work themselves out. But
did Dave place the bet on Bet Openly tonight? He had the under.
Going to get that man in trouble.
All right, through 6 minutes, we go back to the stools in what has been back and forth thus far, Jason.
Yeah, I'm just looking at both fighters. Taylor Mafileo taking some deep breaths in the corner.
Man, if I'm Michael, I'm not feeling super confident about being ahead on the scorecards right now. The first round did not end in a very good position for him. The second round did not go his way at all. He's got to. I'm hoping his corner is telling him he needs to come out for the finish here.
Last time in the third round for Michael Pfeiffer, January 27th of this year. As for Taylor Mafileo, you got to go back almost 5 years to October 19th of 2019. We will see the status of the cardiovascular as we head into this third and final round here to headline these prelims.
These guys are both breathing really hard. This fight may very, very well come down and be determined by whoever gets a takedown. If one of these guys is able to get on top of the other one, I have a hard time seeing how the other one's going to be able to defend themselves and get them off.
Taylor Mafileo on the front foot prior to the bell going. Dave Selistad starts the third round and immediately takes the center of the cage. Superman punch in the middle. Is Mafileo successful as he retreats?
Michael acknowledged that. Usually means he didn't feel good.
Yeah, I like the game plan from Mafileo, pushing Pfeiffer up against the cage, and there's the shot. Mafileo's going to want to get up quick here. He looks tired.
I don't know that he's going to be able to, though. Kind of talk. Oh, he's doing a good job, but giving up his neck in the.
Pfeiffer with a tight squeeze. Mafileo in a world of trouble.
He's going short choke. That does look pretty tight, and Taylor is not moving his hips at all. He cannot just sit there and fight the choke. He's got to start moving his hips, get his back to the mat.
He's fighting the hand there.
Fighting the hands is great, but it doesn't get you out of the position, right? He's got to move, otherwise you're going to be stuck.
There's the tap. Michael Pfeiffer seals the deal in this one early in round number 3.
You called it, Andrew. You said it. Whoever gets the takedown.
Yeah, when you get into a third round, like, fatigue makes cowards of us all, right? Like, in the first round, I guarantee you Taylor's not tapping to that, but when you're as tired as you are, you feel like you're going to have a real hard time getting up, that quit button is a little bit closer.
Sounds like my jiu-jitsu, tapping out because I'm tired.
Well, if you're rolling with Pedro, it's going to happen.
3 in a row now for that man out of Gladiator Fight Academy. You've got a contender on your hands. It is Michael Pfeiffer. Taylor Mafileo on the other side. Quite the valiant effort. A back-and-forth battle between these two middleweights to headline these prelims, Andrew.
I don't want to sound like a broken record here, Blake. I keep bringing up grappling and how important it is, but, I mean, here we are again, right? I don't know how much more I can emphasize it. You have to grapple, and you have to be competent. What happened there at the end of the fight was not that Taylor didn't know how to defend it. He did, but he was tired, and he stopped moving. You have to constantly be moving, even if it means giving up the mount, right? At least you're not getting choked and you're still in the fight.
Grappling as well as conditioning on top of it.
Of course.
Michael Pfeiffer is going to move to 3-1 from a controversial decision in January to now sparking a streak that now puts him into title contention. All love and respect between the two middleweights. They were cool as can be yesterday at weigh-ins. They continue that here to close out the fight. We're going to make it official right now with Jackson Hoofs.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selya said it's called a stop to this contest at 50 seconds of the third round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke out of the blue corner, Suburban Mike Pfeiffer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with your winner, Mike Pfeiffer. Mike, that was a great fight. You guys were going back and forth. I heard you guys talking in the corner there. You said he had some heavy hands. Kind of talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, he cracked me in the first. I was like, I gotta take this motherfucker down.
We talked about it on the broadcast. We felt that first round was very close. We felt like you came up a little short in the second round. Did you feel like you needed a finish coming into that third round?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm tired of decisions, man. I need to start finishing motherfuckers, so I'm out here.
I want to take a look at the screen over here. We're going to walk you through. It's already there to the finish, so there's the rear naked choke. So you end up getting a big finish tonight. You're 3-1 now. Where do you go from here, man?
I mean, I'm just trying to fight, man. Zach knows what's up. I'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, so I'm down.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Net. I want to shout out to Aldo for cornering me. One Hand MMA. All my homies. Shout out Sam Vallon. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired as hell, man.
Give it up for your winner himself, Pfeiffer!
Fierce fans, welcome to the main card. Everyone tuning into the pay-per-view and everyone here inside the sold-out Warehouse 22 Event Center, put your hands together and make some noise! Our next fight of the evening is sponsored by KC Tree Care. This veteran-owned and operated business provides affordable, professional tree services with quality work and prices that won't leave you stumped. Their owner, Carson Craig, has fought in the Fierce Cage and has actually worked on modifying this exact Challenger Series cage to get it ready for all these fighters. For incredible tree services with the best customer service, go with KC Tree Care. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Tate Martin and then Derek Jorgensen to the cage.
Been perfect up to this point and looking to keep the streak alive. Enter Tate Martin. Andrew, he's averaged a fight every 6 weeks since making his debut earlier this year. 2 fights, 2 finishes with a new venture ahead in Derek Jorgensen.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see with a new fighter, right? Like so often, momentum plays such a huge role here. And when you see a fighter who's staying as active as he is, it means he's used to competition, he's staying in shape, he's staying in the gym, and it's exactly what you want. So,
Jason, he made his debut 140 days ago. That averages out to every 46 days in which he's doing this.
I like it. I like him staying active. This is what the amateur ranks are for, is getting these guys, getting them active, getting the experience of getting in the cage tonight. The Martian. Let's see what he's going to bring tonight.
Tate Martin, the lightest he has been in the confines of featherweight. We'll get the tail of the tape up in just a few moments, but for now, we wait for Derek Jorgensen. Looking to string a streak together, enter Derek Jorgensen. Jason, we're looking at a guy who's controlled north of 80% of his fights when he gets his hand raised, and clearly a key component to a second consecutive win here tonight.
Derek Jorgensen is one of those guys that has all the tools to be an elite MMA fighter. He's got elite wrestling. He's got strong striking. He's good everywhere. And once this kid starts putting these things together, he's going to be dangerous.
Andrew, this is a big jump up. His first fight against opposition with a win, as others have been debuters or winless thus far. Interested to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, that might indicate, he's fighting someone who may be a little bit better, or it may just indicate a guy who's being a little bit more active. At the amateur level, it's such a grab bag of what you might be able to get, but both of these guys seem to be like they're really, really active, and that's the exciting thing about these fights, is that these guys aren't taking time off. They're actively building themselves, getting better, and the cool thing about the amateur ranks is you can watch that unfold right in front of you. I really doubt that Derek and Tate are going to be the same fighters as we saw last time.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape presented by Rush Hydro for this amateur featherweight bout between Derek Jorgensen and Tate Martin. Jorgensen, 4 years senior, coming into this one at 30 years of age. Also is more pronounced in height at 5'10", 2 inches taller than Martin. Tipping the scales yesterday is Jorgensen at 144.5, Martin at 143 flat. Jorgensen with a record of 2-2, Martin with a record of 2-0. With that, we'll go back inside for the first time on these prelims to Jackson House.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by KC Tree Care. This fight is an amateur featherweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyestead. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 2 wins and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 143 pounds. Fighting out of Teton Martial Arts, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Tate the Martian Martin! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 144.5 pounds. Fighting out of Tooele Martial Arts, hailing from Tooele, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Derek Jorgensen.
Back inside the fierce cage is Derek Jorgensen in the red gloves. Idaho's Tate Martin strapped up in the blue gloves. This amateur featherweight bout is brought to you by KC Tree Care, providing professional tree service with prices that won't leave you stumped. KC Tree Care, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Awesome seeing so many of these amateur bouts contested 145 pounds and below. You know, in MMA, all the fighters really talk about the real technical fighters. That's the weights they're at.
Martin active early on the front foot. Jorgensen looking to close the distance. Active early, Jason.
Yeah, Tate's coming forward, throwing some nice kicks. Jorgensen's want to get this fight to the ground. There's no secret to what he wants to do.
Tate Martin also been wrestling for half of his life. He definitely matches the grappling potency of Jorgensen coming into this one. Get a quick timeout by Dave Selystedt.
Can't tell what if he's doesn't like the kicks that Tate's throwing there.
Maybe flirting with
Tate is standing southpaw here, which is fine, but I don't like the way that he's going to his left side. He's going to go right into Derek's right hand. He's got to be careful of that.
I feel like those kicks are kind of throwing Jorgensen off a little bit. Tate doing a good job.
Yeah, really kick heavy here.
Martin moves back Jorgensen with that shot.
Head kick on the clinch exit. Pretty tricky stuff.
See a quick smile from Jorgensen. Martin being real creative with his bag of tricks in terms of the kicking department.
Really good whizzer there to stop the takedown. That was beautiful. Tate is really throwing a lot of high energy stuff here. He has thrown like probably 15, 20 kicks already, and he's doing a lot of them going backwards, which is exhausting. I got to question, the energy systems, but if it's working, it's working.
He's throwing Jorgensen off with those kicks. Jorgensen can't really get into a rhythm there. As I say that, he throws a nice knee up the middle.
Yeah, if I'm Derek here, I'm trying to secure this clinch. He's doing a good job riding that arm. I'd be looking for body locks and clinch work up against the cage. Against a guy like Tate, he's being a little bit wild, right?
Just under a minute to go here, round one, and what has been a lot of offensive output by Martin specifically, but Derek Jorgensen definitely not going out without a fight either. A quick slip finds Martin attacking a little bit as Jorgensen retreats.
And Tate slowed down just a little bit here.
Stiff inside leg kick lands for Jorgensen, draws a reaction from Martin as he steps back forward. Jorgensen floors Martin, lets him back up.
Derek's leg kicks are landing pretty well here. That might be that might be worth continuing to go to. Especially against a guy who's wanting to be explosive and throw so quickly. Those leg kicks will really slow people. Yeah, his coach is calling for it now.
Through 3 minutes. Interesting one there, Jason. Back and forth.
Yeah, I feel like, and I said it early on in the fight, I feel like Tate was throwing Jorgensen off a little bit. It didn't seem like Jorgensen was ever settled down or comfortable in that first round. Usually you see him shooting for multiple takedowns and trying to get the fight to the ground, but Tate utilizing those kicks and kind of throwing him off balance.
Yeah, Tate is switching stances a lot, which can be super confusing. One thing I did notice, though, is every time Tate's going southpaw, that is the position he's kicking from. It's not that it's bad, but, doing one thing too many times in a fight can oftentimes lead to disaster. So he for sure needs to look out for that. Derek, might sound strange. Tate definitely won that round, in my opinion. I think Derek might actually be the better fighter coming into this second round. It looked towards the end of that round, he was starting to pick up on some of the patterns that Tate is doing. I'm really interested to see if Derek adjusts here. It starts going to those leg kicks.
100% finish rate between these two. Tate Martin, most recently a round 1 submission. TKO Jace Coons back in January in the second round as we kick off the top of the second here. Jorgensen throws everything at Martin. Martin immediately jumps in on that takedown.
That was a beautiful single leg. Little bit chaotic here, not a ton of control.
Yeah, this is where Jorgensen wants the fight. Tate obviously showing he has a little bit of wrestling too.
That was a really, really good snatch single leg too. Like that was very, very quick.
Tate Martin, a multi-time All-American wrestler on top of his MMA training, as we see, but Jorgensen looking to find himself on top.
Yeah, Derek he's doing a good job. He needs to elevate those hips and to get control of Tate's upper body. Otherwise, he's going to be able to just get right back up like he's doing here.
Jorgensen sprawls. Punishes with the knee to the body as well.
Tate's got good control of that hand. He needs to do what's called a quad pod. He needs to pop his hips up into the air, hands on the mat and hips up into the air. Against the cage, it can be tough. There, he's looking for it there. But really good counter there by Derek to get those hooks in. Both hooks in now. He's going to be trying to flatten him out, which obviously you want to avoid.
Jorgensen right in his wheelhouse. Both of his wins have been by submission, most recently March of this year, I apologize.
These are some big shots landing. Tate is going to have to move or this fight's going to get finished. You know, the referees aren't going to give amateurs a whole lot of leeway on these strikes on the ground. Looks like Derek's going to be looking for a body triangle potentially here. He's got long legs to do it.
Jorgensen wrapping up what looks to be a rear naked choke, but still fighting the left hand of Martin.
Good job there by Derek to keep his hand on the mat, not give up position, trying to hang on. Those look like they're to the back of the head, the knee.
Yeah, he's going to have to watch the back of the head.
Yeah,
I think Selistad just warned him there, too.
Selistad got a good look, but let it play out. Under a minute to work for Jorgensen in an advantageous position.
Looks like this is going to get finished here in a moment.
Yeah, Tate's going to have to do something to get out of
here.
here.
He's got to move. Covering your head like that is not properly defending yourself.
This is about over with, folks.
Every time Daves goes to finish it, he moves just enough, but this is going to be stopped for sure.
I mean,
a little bit of frustration from Jorgensen as well, making eye contact with Selistad. No movement from Martin on the bottom at all.
You know, to Dave's credit, a lot of those shots are hitting the gloves.
They're not doing any damage.
Yeah.
I mean, Tate's he's covering up, but I mean, you got to successfully defend yourself, right? I mean,
now that being said, you're in a bad spot, and now Dave's looking really close at the fight, which you don't really want, right?
Now are we going to see a situation where Derek's tired himself out trying to finish?
Only 10 seconds left. If he's able to get out of here, if I'm hearing those claps, I'm going to start moving my hips. Dave is real close to getting in on this.
I'm really surprised this has not been stopped yet.
But again, a lot of them are to the glove, right? So I see the protest from the corner, but I don't know.
I mean, that many unanswered shots, and Tate, I know they weren't landing a lot of damage, but Tate wasn't moving. He wasn't doing anything to try to improve the situation or get out. He was just laid there. At some point, it's like, okay, if you're not going to do anything, then we're going to call the fight.
I think I agree with you on that one, Jason. I'm trying to give the referee the benefit of the doubt, right?
But Dave's a good ref. He's been doing this for a long time. I'm not trying to question you, Dave.
We will go to a third round in the stool of Derek Jorgensen. Lots of output. You got to wonder what minutes 6 through 9 are going to look like with all of that in round number 2, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, big round for Derek Jorgensen. Controlled the whole round. I mean, yeah.
Look, if that's not a 10-8, they don't exist, right,
I was going to say, that's about as close to a 10-8 round as you can get.
It's got to be. And the other thing to keep in mind, though, is, you know, Tate, while he was getting smashed, wasn't using a lot of energy. Derek just exerted a lot of energy. On top of that, he thought he was going to finish the fight.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was alluding to. About a minute left. Derek threw punches for about a minute and a half to end that fight. And
I was thinking in my own head callbacks to Zeke Latu.
Zeke Latu's fight,
right,
yep.
With Cam Chisholm, where he punched himself out.
Third and final round between these two featherweights. Jorgensen active early, as is Martin. Jorgensen closes in. Martin.
Derek looks very gassed, very tired to me. I wouldn't say gassed, I'm sorry. But he does look labored in all of these shots. Granted, he is in the third round of a tough fight. But he does look tired to me. you know, we could potentially get ourselves into a draw situation here. If Tate ends up winning this round and it goes to a decision, it could very well be, you know, they could end up going to a draw, which, you know, neither fighter really wants. So
when Tate is pressing forward and throwing punches, he's having success with connecting with Jorgensen, and the same can be said for Jorgensen.
Jorgensen biting down on every shot, really swinging for the fences, looking like he wants the finish, Andrew.
Yeah, every time Derek is coming forward really hard, and every single time he does that, Tate's defense getting out is backing straight up with his chin in the air. You do not want to see that, right? That puts you right in line for a line drive, and not exactly the safest position, especially when you're tired, right?
Both fighters swinging back momentum back and forth here in this third round. Martin has had moments, as has Jorgensen, as he lands upstairs.
This could be anybody's fight right now.
Tate's throwing a lot of arm punches. I'd love to see him sit down a little bit, get his butt down a little bit closer to the canvas, and really turn on some of those shots.
Martin lunges, connects. Jorgensen able to create some distance.
Ooh, he almost walked right into that spinning back fist. That was really close.
Spinning back fist late by Martin, but Jorgensen answers back.
You know, the real difference here, we're getting some talking back and forth now. Derek's talking to him. The real difference here is that when Derek is throwing shots, he's bringing his whole body forward. He's moving his feet and he's turning his shots over. Tate's not. Beautiful head kick. Tate's sort of lunging forward. He's backing up with his head straight up in the air, and that's just not a very strong offensive posture.
The head kick rings through the room. Martin tries to copy the style. All offense by both. Final 10 seconds to decide it.
Big overhand from Jorgensen. That kind of hurt Tate.
What a fight between these two. One of the best of the entire night thus far. We're going to go to the judges' scorecards. It's going to be a tough one to call, Jason, like we talked about. 10-8s, couple of 10-9s as well.
I'm going to lean slightly towards Jorgensen there because I felt like he obviously won the second round, and I feel like he took control and he landed the harder shots, as Andrew touched on during the round. He was landing those harder shots. I'm going to slight edge to Jorgensen in the decision.
I've got to agree with you, Jason. Derek definitely won the second round. If I was the judge, I'd be giving that a 10-8. And in my opinion, he took the third round as well. So, yeah, we'll see. We never know with MMA judging. It's so hard to see what the judges are seeing out there.
And the question is as well, was that third round, when did that start for Derek? It was the head kick really that opened things up, because up to that point it was very competitive.
It definitely was back and forth. Look, anytime, we had talked about this before the broadcast started, gamesmanship is an important part of every sport, but in particular fighting, because scoring is subjective, right? You have human beings deciding who wins and who loses. Body language is important, and when Jorgensen is pushing forward and Tate is back on the cage, even if it's only for the last 10 seconds, that's the thing they remember.
So a final push in the third round looks to swing the tide in the favor of Derek Jorgensen in the corner with his team of Tooele Martial Arts Academy. Very interested to see how the judges play this one up and tally up those scores. But Tate Martin, third fight in, goes to an all-out war. Both of these fighters going to decision for the first time in their career. Passed that test with flying colors, Andrew.
Yeah, that was a tough fight. Look, neither one of those guys quit. So often, and I talked about it a little bit when we were talking about rear naked chokes, so often when guys get into fights that are a little tougher than they thought they were going to be, people start looking for a way out. Both of those guys, tough as nails. They weren't looking for a way out at all. They wanted to win the whole time. You love to see that.
Still waiting on the final verdict. Not yet in the hands of Jackson Hoops. But either way, seems like the stock will rise for both of these guys, considering the technical warfare that was displayed here to kick off the main card.
Yeah, you know, when you're an amateur fighter and you have a fight like that, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because your stock, exactly what you just said, your stock goes up. You got a ton of cage, you got 9 minutes of cage time, right? Really, really great experience for both fighters, and they're both going to grow tremendously because of it.
It looks as though scorecards are in hand. Fighters still in the corner. A little bit of deliberation as well.
You got to think this is so nerve-wracking as the fighters, right? You go through a really tough fight, you feel like you won, but you're not sure, and then the judges are over here, and you're not quite, no one knows what's going on. Looks like we're ready to go.
All right, prime to announce the winner. Here is Jackson Hopes.
Bears fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-27, declaring your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Derek Jorgensen!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with your winner, Derek Jorgensen. Derek, that was a tough back-and-forth fight. We were talking about on the broadcast, we felt like you were down after the first round. You came back in the second round, had a dominant performance. Did you feel like the fight should have been stopped in that second round? What was going through your mind there?
Oh, yeah. I looked at Dave like 4 fucking times while I was hitting him in the head. Granted, he was telling me to watch my strikes location, but, I mean, he didn't move for like 2 minutes. My arm was tired from punching him, man.
You came back into that third round. You were landing some nice combinations. You end up getting the decision win. 2 fights in a row win streak. What's next for you now?
I don't know. Talk to my coaches. Go drink and eat some pizza tonight, and then we'll figure it out. Zach is the best matchmaker around. He'll do whatever's best for the promotion, whatever's best for me. I trust him. We'll be good.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, Brandon McCollum, we know who you are. My beautiful wife, Murder Titty Rash Guard, Slashler Aesthetics, Virtue Barbershop, Twilla Martial Arts Academy. Nico said it best, man. Start giving us some respect. We show up and kick ass and win fights, man. We're 6-1-1 this year.
You guys are on a tear out there. There's something in the water out there in Twilla Martial Arts Academy. Give it up for your winner, Derek Jorgensen. You've defended the belt now. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
This guy right over here, Nate Reinhardt, this is his next.
He's kind of set the bar for that bantamweight division.
I don't know if there is a more fluid striker at the amateur level.
The Steer's starting to pick him apart now.
There it is! Nasir Davis is unbelievable!
That right hand was nuclear.
No one is going to stop this kid.
Got the crowd on their feet, Blake.
For your patience, let's hit this thing going. Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Rockwell Watches. Born out of a need for commitment to redefine a style, devote themselves to quality, and remain loyal to those they surround themselves with, Rockwell Watches reveal a life of uncompromising style, action, and confidence, fueled by the weight on your wrist and the story you have to tell. They sincerely hope your Rockwell watch serves as a reminder of a time when you can proudly say, "Watch me." They don't just tell time, they tell a story at Rockwell Watches. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Austin Munoz and then Logan Taylor to the cage.
Backed by a barn burner and now a large leap to the top. Here is Austin Munoz. Andrew, he splashed onto the scene and shot up to a can't-miss name on this card.
Yeah, you got a guy coming in 2-0, young guy. As I talked about before, these guys think they're immortal. I fully expect this to be a barn burner. I think these guys are going to come out swinging. I think we're going to have an exciting fight on our hands.
Jason, fight of the night back in March versus Isaac Allen. That was an incredible fight in what was one of the best Challenger Series in terms of entertainment of all time.
Yeah, that was a banger of a fight. Fireworks, Austin Munoz. You see his dad, Eric Munoz, in his corner. He's always in his kids' corners. You know he's tough because his dad's tough. Fabio Serrao in his corner as well. Team Link representing.
Austin Munoz, again, that 2-0 record. His first win was back in August of last year. It was a round 1 rear naked choke. His second win was a TKO in the second round. Now here in his third walk, awaiting Logan Taylor.
Jason, that Fabio Serrao guy is pretty familiar with the ground game.
He's pretty familiar with it.
Yeah.
Bout number 3 of 2024, enter Logan Taylor. Jason, he's revolving the reps and raising his stock with every walk back in Utah with a brand new test in front of him.
Yeah, this is another one of those fights, and we touched on this earlier, finding those diamonds in the roughs in these amateur ranks. And these are two guys that are both studs. Logan Taylor, full of energy, good wrestling, great takedowns, good striking, comes from a phenomenal gym in Agima Jiu-Jitsu down in Provo, Utah. Who would have thought they would have had a gym in the middle of a mall in Provo, Utah? Well, they do.
I remember when they opened it up, and I said it was stupid and it was going to close down.
And now it's one of the biggest gyms in Utah.
Yeah.
Andrew, Logan Taylor alongside Agima, they have both blossomed over the years, already climbed to the number 7 lightweight in Utah since his debut back in September of 2023.
Yeah, when you got a skilled guy and he's staying in the gym, look at him. He's obviously in phenomenal shape, right? He's at a good gym. He's staying active. Dane's not letting him not be active. They have to train all the time. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get good results when you put in good effort.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape presented by Rush Hydro. Logan Taylor facing off against Austin Munoz. Munoz, the older man by 6 years at 26 years of age, also will have the advantage in the height department at 5'11". Both fighters tipping the scales at 154 pounds. Both fighters to put their undefeated records on the line right now. With that, we will kick it back inside to Jackson Host.
Here's fans. This fight is sponsored by Rockwell Watches. This fight is an amateur lightweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyestead. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 2 wins and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 154 pounds. Fighting out of Team Link Utah Training Center, hailing from Ogden, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Austin Munoz. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an undefeated amateur record of 3 wins and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 154 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Provo, Utah by way of Meridian, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Logan, the Lion Taylor.
Unbeaten, Logan Taylor rocks the red gloves. Austin Munoz matches the win percentage opposite in blue. This amateur lightweight bout is brought to you by Rockwell Watches. They don't just tell time, they tell a story. Rockwell Watches, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
The cage is locked.
Let's hope.
It also looks like we have one of our cage crew actually manning right behind it to make sure as we get right off to things.
Beautiful body lock here and an amazing takedown against the cage. Lots of action. Turners back to get up. Not necessarily recommended. He's got a grapevine on that far side leg. Going to try to drag him back to the mat, potentially get back control again.
Austin Munoz has one direction in which he fights, and that is forward. Obviously bringing the fight thus far to Logan Taylor, but Logan Taylor in the advantageous position.
He's doing a really hard grapevine. I'm wondering if he's going to go for a lockdown on that leg while he's trying to ride the back here.
Logan Taylor 3 for 3 on takedown attempts with Fierce Fighting Championship.
He's got a Kimura grip on the far side. Or he's attempting to get one. Logan's doing a great job of controlling those hands and ultimately gets off of the cage using that.
Munoz retreats. Back to the center they go as he'll rip a leg kick on the lead leg.
Logan is putting everything into those leg kicks, man. You can't take too many of those.
Munoz swings for the fences. Taylor makes him pay for it.
Man, Munoz is throwing the house every single time he throws anything.
He is throwing with some power.
My goodness.
Some blood coming from the nose of Taylor as he'll close the distance.
And I think this is a good move, right? When you got a guy throwing leather at you like that, you want to close that distance and slow him down a bit. Oh, trying to get tricky there. You see that, Jason?
I did see that.
Munoz kicks high, unable to connect.
Will Munoz be able to keep up with the pace of Taylor? Because Taylor's going to keep coming forward.
And it's hard when you're getting backed up, right? Much, much easier to be going forward into the fighter. Taylor's got a good grip here. He's got a hard underhook. Munoz is doing a good job of keeping his hands locked, not letting him get too much ground here.
Taylor, all the pressure in the world as he'll throw back upstairs. Munoz matches.
Munoz is doing a good job of getting an underhook to get off the cage every single time. That's what you want to see.
They're both landing big shots.
Oh, my goodness.
Munoz lands a bomb and pushes Taylor back. Now he's looking for the takedown. Logan Taylor lost his mouthpiece, telling Dave Selyustad he needs to go get it. No pause in the action just yet, but Logan Taylor...
He did a great job there breaking that grip on the wrist by using the knee to peel it off.
Dave Selyustad will call, get the mouthpiece back in for Logan Taylor. Ate a bomb from Austin Munoz. And Logan Taylor can take a shot. He was caught cleanly by Javi Castro. Kept coming forward. Continues that trend right now.
He's eating a couple big shots this round, and he just keeps coming forward.
Andrew, you mentioned you were predicting a barn burner. That's what we've got on our hands. Non-stop action in the first round.
Call me a prophet, right? I mean, these guys are freaking swinging. Munoz is literally every single thing that he throws is with the intention to destroy Taylor. So Taylor's handling it well, though. I mean, you see him pushing forward. He's not stopping. He's not scared at all. You know, sometimes when a guy's throwing at you like that, it can really kind of throw you off a little bit. But Taylor is very direct that he is going to push Munoz back, and he's not going to stop.
Jason, we haven't seen his back against the wall like this. He's bloodied and battered.
Yeah, he's bloody. He took a couple hard shots. He was rocked a little bit at the end of that round. Great competitive back and forth round. Every time you felt Logan was taking the lead, then you saw Munoz come back and landed some heavy shots, heavy leg kicks. Great competitive first round.
Saw a lot of really good clinching mechanics from both of them against the cage. If one of them is going to want to get a takedown, they're going to have to be pretty crafty about getting it done. I don't know that it's going to happen against the cage. It might have to happen in the middle, as opposed to against the side.
Both fighters shot out of a cannon to kick off the first round. We will see if that type of output remains the standard. Back to the middle we go. Logan Taylor takes the center, but is met by a Munoz shot.
These guys are real trigger happy right now. Oh, my goodness.
Taylor shoots in, finds his way to the top.
Just like Andrew said, takedown in the middle of the cage.
Yeah, Munoz is doing a really good job stiff-arming and working his way back to the guard. Let's see if he can keep shrimping and keep going. He can't stop here. He cannot stop here and hang on. Now he's in a bad spot. Looks like he may be going for an UPA here if he can control Whitford a little bit there. Looks like he'll go for it again.
The legs are grapevine. Very difficult to pull off that move as Logan Taylor trying to settle into this a little bit as it has been nonstop action between these two early on.
Yeah, that technique will work against someone who's not quite as well balanced. I don't see that working against Taylor. Munoz cannot sit here with his arm wrapped around. He has got to start shrimping and got to start moving, or Taylor's going to be working his way here to a finish. He's so well balanced on top.
Nonstop movement on the bottom, but playing into the hand of Taylor as he's looking to find something in terms of the submission department. 2 of his 3 wins have come by submission.
And that's deep. That rear naked choke is deep.
Yeah, this is not a good spot.
And he's tapping.
There it is! Logan Taylor against all odds gets it done! Gonna move to 4-0!
Man, when they hit the mat, he made quick work of them, huh?
He made very quick work with them. Great control from the top.
This kid is on another level. Logan Taylor is a name to remember, Jason.
And we saw him tested a little bit in this fight. Like we haven't seen him tested like this, and he was tested tonight, and he came through with flying colors.
Definitely went through some adversity there to get that win. It did not come easy at all. You saw him in between rounds. He had blood all over him, but didn't deter him at all. He stuck to the game plan, did what his coach told him to, and ultimately it paid off.
Dealt with adversity, but the record stays unscathed. Logan Taylor 4-0 as he looks to be tuning in to a title fight in the near future. Austin Munoz has such a bright future, Andrew. This kid is unbelievable.
I was just going to say it before you. I mean, look at him. He's still in great spirits, right? At the amateur, I think people put a little bit too much emphasis, as far as the fighters, on winning and losing. Obviously, you want to win. But, like, is anybody going to watch that and think Eric Munoz is an easy night at the park? No. I mean, he's a savage, right? He's a dog, and they're both dogs. So the sky's the limit for these guys, and they're both going to grow from it.
All right, we're going to make it official right now. Back inside, here is Hoops.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Celia said has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 25 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke, Logan the Lion Taylor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with your winner, Logan Taylor. Logan, we're making a habit out of this, man. You're coming here and just keep getting W's. How you feeling tonight?
Woo! I feel amazing, guys. That was awesome. I want to thank all my friends for coming here, family. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. It's Happy Father's Day tomorrow. And I love you, Mom, and all my friends for coming here, and everyone watching from home. Thank you so much.
In that first round, you guys had a great back and forth. There was a lot of scrambles in that first round. Going into that second round, did you think you were going to get a finish going into that second round?
Well, I just thought first round I came out a little slow. I wasn't feeling it super much, and then I started picking up my pace right in the second round, and I knew I was able to get it once I got on top of him, and I could hold him down.
So you're 4-0 now. What's next? Do we get a title shot next?
I want that title shot, baby. I want that amateur belt. You'll see me next amateur champ this year. And I want to thank all my sponsors, or both my sponsors, Teasers T-shirts and Jack's Nutrition. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your winner, Logan Taylor.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Logan Taylor remains undefeated. Jason, your thoughts on him getting that win? That was the most his back has been against the wall, I think, throughout his entire career.
And he passed with flying colors. I know Zach was listening to that post-fight interview. Give me Logan Taylor and Emma Garcia for the title.
Andrew, we are now in title territory. Ricky Mamone and Tyler Harden. We didn't get to see Camuela Mamone much here tonight, but Ricky Mamone has all the accolades and all of the talk and the hype, I would say, that Camuela has as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, pro fights are cool. This is the fight I've been looking forward to the most all night. Ricky, nothing. Tyler's incredible as well. Like, both of these guys are incredible fighters. Ricky is such the talk of the town right now in Utah, and we're going to find out, right? Like, Tyler, if he's going to beat Tyler, he's going to have to earn it.
Lots to look forward to and lots to discuss as they make their walks. With that, let's kick it back inside to Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, our first title fight of the evening is sponsored by Atlas Health and Life Insurance. Dedicated to safeguarding your well-being with comprehensive, affordable insurance coverage, Cody Capson can help you find the protection you need, whether you are an individual, a family, or a business owner. He provides the best options tailored to you and your loved ones, ensuring peace of mind throughout your health journey. Insurance can be complicated. Cody Capson makes it easy at Atlas Health and Life Insurance. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Tyler Harden and then Ricky Mamone to the cage.
Snatching subs and boasting belts, enter Tyler Harden. Andrew, a new face to us, but his fifth fight in 13 months leads in to title fight number 3.
Yeah, I've seen him fight a bunch of times, and he is good. He's real good. Obviously very active with his jiu-jitsu, tries to get on top of guys, tries to strangle guys. I mean, if you were going to figure out a way to fight Ricky, that's the way to do it. I am curious, though, because I know he's been working on his striking a lot. I'm wondering if that's the game plan, and that might sound crazy, but we'll see.
Jason, no easy task for Ricky. More wins than Ricky's 3 previous opponents combined. Here is Tyler Hardin.
Yeah, this is a big test. Tyler Hardin, like Andrew said, he's bringing it. He's 4-2. He's well-rounded. He's been working on his striking. This is a big fight.
3 for 4 on takedowns in his last 3 fights. Interested to see if he's able to bring Mamone down, because Mamone, let's not forget, he is also a very, very good grappler in his own right.
Hawaiians can do everything, man. I'm serious. Hawaii is, I don't know why they've flown under the radar with guys like Max Holloway and Ray Cooper, but people seem to forget, like, those boys can really fight. And when the Mamone brothers came over here, I'm not kidding, they came into the gym at Elite, they were good at everything. And we were like, oh my goodness, like, this is a different level of amateur fighter.
And Jason, they do have different gyms, but they're not exactly at one specific gym every single day. They don't have a place to call home necessarily. First curtain call of 2024, and bidding for a belt is Ricky Mamone. Jason, from a Green High School student a little over a year ago to now a premier prospect in the state of Utah.
I love watching this kid fight. He brings it, very well-rounded, and he's got bricks in his hands. I'm waiting for him to walk out with the Mike Tyson towel, just cut the hole in the towel and put it over his head and just walk out, because this guy's like a little Mike Tyson.
And Andrew, we've seen a sizable step up in skill acumen with each walk, specifically when we saw him opposite Matthew Chenault in November of last year. He looked like a completely upgraded fighter.
Yeah, I believe he made his debut against Malachi Novosel. I fought on that card, and I remember when I went out and I was watching him, I was like, oh my God, who is he fighting right now? Malachi ended up winning that fight, but if you compare the Ricky of that fight to the Ricky of, you're talking the growth that it would take most fighters years and years and years, and he's done it in no time at all. So
if I remember right, that was a short notice fight too against Malachi.
10 days notice.
Takes that on 10 days notice, still in high school.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape for this amateur super featherweight title bout between Ricky Mamone and Tyler Hardin. Hardin, the older fighter by 4 years at 24 years of age. A large height discrepancy here, 7 inches in favor of Hardin, standing 6'1". Both fighters coming in under the championship rim at 150 pounds. Mamone with a record of 3-1. Tyler Hardin with a record of 4-2.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Atlas Health and Life Insurance. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. This fight is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds for the Fierce Fighting Championship Professional Super Featherweight title. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 150 pounds. Fighting out of Colossal Fight Company, hailing from Pocatello, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Tyler the Hangman Hardin! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 3 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 150 pounds. Fighting out of Iron Monster Factory, hailing from Panaeva, Hawaii. Fierce fans, make some noise for Ricky Paniolo Mamone!
Already in the locker room, I'm just going to go over those big ones again. Stay at the top, back of the head, neck, and spine, and keep your fingers out of the cage. Amateur bouts, the only thing that strikes the head is either a punch or a kick. Got it? Touch them up. Let's have a good fight.
Heavy-handed Ricky Mamone with the red gloves. Jiu-Jitsu ace Tyler Hardin fitted in the blue. The super featherweight title bout is brought to you by Atlas Health and Life. Affordable insurance tailored to you. No one covers better for self-employed or small business owners than Atlas Health and Life. An official sponsor of Fierce FC. Straight into the action we go. Ricky Mamone going to work.
Ricky is unreal.
Wow! This kid's on another level. Ricky Mamone leaves no doubt in Syracuse, Utah.
Ricky is unreal. That was ridiculous.
Are you kidding me?
Are you
He's
kidding
coming
me?
over and giving love
This
to the
kid is
broadcast.
the real deal.
Every single one, these Mamone kids, man, I'm telling you, when he fought Malachi, he said, I didn't think I was going to win, but I wanted to get there and find out how I was going to fight. That's the attitude these guys have, man. They're real fighters, Jason. Like, these guys are about it.
As fast of a finish as you can get. Ricky Mamone is an absolute problem. He's the Fierce FC super featherweight champion.
That is ridiculous, Blake. Like, the way that he attacked, changed, oh my goodness. Like,
let's look at this replay.
okay, here we go. Fight starts off. Ricky comes forward. Hard teep kick, hard right hand, and does not stop. Sees he got his guy hurt. And the thing that's impressive here, this is not just an unregulated blitz. Back up to the top. Ricky Mamone is the real deal.
I am not a fortune teller, but I will say those amateur pound-for-pound rankings come back around. He's going to be atop that list. Ricky Mamone wins the title in emphatic fashion here tonight.
And what a nightmare for the matchmakers at this point. Good luck finding that guy a fight.
What a way to kick off title territory. And we are going to make it official. Prime to belt the winner. Here is Jackson Hooks.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyastad has called a stop to this contest at 9 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO and new undisputed super featherweight champion, Ricky Paniolo Mamone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Ricky Mamone. Ricky, that was about as fast. That was a phenomenal performance, quick performance. What's going through your mind, man?
Nothing, the goal was to, get my hand raised, this belt around my waist, and here I am. So, first of all, I'd just like to give a big shout out to Agima Jiu-Jitsu out in Provo, Bobby King at Layton. Thank you for letting us train at you guys' gym. Other than that, man, I'm feeling good.
I want to take a look at this fight. It was only 9 seconds. Some nice combinations here.
My dad had told us be first, and that's what we came. So, yeah, we just came to swing. That's what we came here to do, put on a show for you guys. Hopefully you guys loved it.
In that. I know you said you were going in there and swinging, but that looked very calculated. Body, head. You came out there like a wrecking ball. You're now the champ. What's next for you?
Like I said before, it's back in the office. It's just another day. Of course, we're going to celebrate tonight with this belt. Tomorrow is dead and gone. Watch film and, get better.
Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a big shout out to Cool Breeze HVAC, Aloha Fencing, Uncle Capella. Thank you for always being there for me since day one. This fight was dedicated to Iosepa, Skull Valley, so big shout out to Iosepa and the Hawaiians over there. Everybody that came out over here, thank you for supporting me and my brother. Other than that, hey, hui ho, and always remember Hawaiian forever.
Give it up for your winner and new Fierce FC super featherweight champion, Ricky Mamone.
Hard to win. You still have another one to go. And people ask me all the time, bro, you're 37. You're training so hard. I'm going to show you guys a secret. What get me going? Peace is what get me going. Yoshi Hydro, developed by one of the best my nutrition Marcelo Frel. That's the first thing that I take, I've been taking after weighing. So I go to UFC and make the weight. That's the first thing that I take for recovery. And that's the thing that's going to get me going to the next session. Yoshi Hydro. I told you guys the second round is done. Yoshi Hydro. That thing going to get you going. Make sure you get yours.
Welcome back inside Warehouse 22 in Syracuse, Utah. Blake O'Rulian alongside Jason Laporte, as well as my man Andrew Boquette. Guys, I haven't been this in awe of a performance. I think, Jason, I really think ever. I don't know if I've ever been this shocked before. That was on paper a very competitive fight. And Ricky Mamone takes care of business in 9 seconds.
9 seconds, 20 years old. This kid's a problem. He is a problem. And you heard he gave a shout out to Agima. He's training at Agima. Watch out for this kid.
I'm kind of shook, to be honest with you guys. I mean, you watch this replay here again. This is such beautiful striking. The way that he circled off, he hit his right hand, circled back. I mean, you talked about Mike Tyson. Man, you cannot be on the feet with this kid. You just can't. He's too explosive. He hits too hard. He's too quick.
Lightning fast with that Mamone movement. I had it on my boards to mention that specifically. He moves so quickly, so well, and there is so much to look forward to with him continuing on his career throughout the upcoming years. All right, we will move to title bout number 2 between Melody Schrock and Asia Negron. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our co-main event and final title fight of the evening is sponsored by Rush Hydro. As fellow high-performance athletes, they intimately understand the demands your body faces during intense workouts. At Rush Hydro, they bottle the essence of resilience and determination. Feel the exhilaration of optimal electrolyte balance and unmatched bioavailability tailored for champions who refuse to settle for anything less. Elevate your performance with elite hydration. Revitalize, rebound, and recharge with Rush Hydro. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome the challenger, Asia Negron, and then the champion, Melody Schrock, to the cage.
All right, a belt brings back Asia Negron to the sport of MMA. Andrew, 4.5 years without the small gloves, but did get her hand raised in a Muay Thai bout back in March leading into this one.
Yeah, she actually fought one of my friends in Brittany Parsons, who's a good fighter. Like, she's a good Muay Thai fighter. She trains all the time. And Asia won that fight pretty handily. She got a stoppage in it, and she kind of just bullied her way forward through big shots and never stopped moving forward, that is. And that's probably what I'm going to expect to see from her out of here. I wasn't even aware that she was still training MMA. I thought her entire focus was on Muay Thai.
Yeah, 4.5-year layoff. Her last MMA fight was January 10th of 2020, Jason.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago. She's really big for the weight class. Backtrack 4.5 years ago when I was doing nutrition, she actually worked with me and I was helping her out with her nutrition, so I know that's one of the things that she's been working on over these years getting ready for this fight.
Well, she will absolutely be resourceful with her reach. A 3-inch reach advantage coming into this one versus Melody Schrock is Asia Negron. And Andrew, like you were talking about, a dynamic mixed bag of striking. She will definitely look to lean into that as she faces a stout grappler in Melody Schrock.
Yeah, this girl hits really, really hard, too. I would assume that her plan is to keep the fight on the feet, throw big, hard shots, and move forward. But we'll have to see. I mean, when you're training MMA, you obviously, at this point, everybody has to train everything, minus heavyweights. And, yeah, so that is what I'll expect out of her, but we'll see.
Unbeaten up to this point is the incumbent, Melody Schrock. Jason, from day one to now, the champion steadily searches for submission wherever the opportunity presents itself, and that lands her in her first title defense.
Yeah, you nailed it. If there's a submission attempt available, she is going to take it. And if it's not available, she's going to find it.
Andrew, I will break that down actually for you right now. She is so efficient with her submission attacks. In her 3 fights, 6 sub attempts, 3 submission wins, all by armbar.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. When you see a grappler not only take people down and get on top of them or whatever, but actively hunt for submissions like that, shows a lot of confidence. You know, it's one thing to do it in the gym when the consequence is, not getting your head caved in. To do it in a fight shows a lot of confidence, shows a lot of confidence in your jiu-jitsu, and it means that you're drilling those things, right? You don't just come into the cage. People always like to say you rise to the occasion. It's not a real thing in mixed martial arts. You fall to the level of your training, right? And clearly, if she is hunting submissions that efficiently, she's putting in the work to do so.
All right, let's see what falls onto the film here between these two featherweights as we pull up our tale of the tape presented by Rush Hydro. Melody Schrock facing off against Asia Negron. Negron, 5-year senior coming into this one at 26 years of age, also will have that 3-inch height advantage. Melody Schrock tipping the scales yesterday at 144.5 pounds. Asia Negron coming in slightly under at 142. Schrock puts her undefeated record on the line at 3-0. Negron with a record of 2-3. Also of note, Melody Schrock looks to become the first female to ever defend her Fierce FC title here tonight, Jason.
Yeah, that's surprising. Surprised we haven't had that yet.
Hannah Silva was the first champion. Since then, no female has defended her title.
That's right. We could see the defense tonight, or we could see an and new tonight.
Well, Matt Hughes said long ago, you're not really the champion until you defend it. So,
all right, with that, let's kick it inside to Jackson House.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Rush Hydro, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. This fight is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds for the Fierce Fighting Championship Amateur Featherweight title. Introducing the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 142 pounds. Fighting out of Empire MMA, hailing from Cedar City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Asia Negron! And introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated record of 3 wins and 0 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed in at 144.5 pounds. Fighting out of Origins Combatives, hailing from Clark Fork, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for the reigning, defending, undisputed featherweight champion, Melody Schrock.
All right, ladies, we've been over the rules in locker room already. Just going to go over those big ones again. Stay off the top, back of the head, neck, and spine. Keep your fingers out of the cage. Just amateur bouts. The only thing that strikes the head is either a punch or a kick. Got it? Touch them up. Let's have a good fight.
Fierce FC featherweight champion Melody Schrock, wrapped in the red gloves, challenging is Asia Negron in the blue. This amateur featherweight title bout is brought to you by Rush Hydro. Revitalize, rebound, and recharge with Rush Hydro, the official recovery drink of Fierce FC. Negron jabs as Schrock immediately searches for the takedown.
A little bit of an undisciplined attempt. She can't be doing that too much to a striker like Asia.
And Asia was waiting for it too. She circled right out of that.
Yeah, you got to be real careful coming forward with your head up like that. Needs to set that up with a few punches, work her way into a clinch. That's a little better. There we go. That's what we like to see.
Asia doing a good job not letting her get her hands, pushing her right away. Not getting into those tie-ups.
And the difference that you're seeing here that Asia Negron is doing that the guys weren't doing earlier is that she's moving her feet while she's punching, right? Stationary targets are easy to hold.
There's that judo throw.
Let's see here.
Asia told me specifically she had a game plan perfectly mapped out for the style of Melody Schrock. We will have to see if she can serve it well. Right now, Melody Schrock looking to bring this one back to the canvas as she floors Negron.
And she's got an arm.
Negron, 2 of her 3 losses have been by submission. Her latest one was October of 2019. Again, Schrock, all 3 of her wins have been by submission through armbar.
And she's isolating that right arm of Asia's.
I'm wondering if she's thinking about falling back on that. That's exactly what she's going to be going for. And that looks tight.
Rinse and repeat once again. Melody Schrock gets it done, and she makes history here tonight as the first female to ever defend her title in Fierce Fighting Championship history.
Executed her game plan perfectly. Got the takedown, went right for the armbar. There's no secret to what Melody Schrock wants to do when she gets in the cage.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on display. Melody Schrock taking care of business in the first round. Once again, serves up a submission for another win in her career.
Yeah, that was a great performance. You know, there's been a lot of talk recently about the efficacy of jiu-jitsu on a downpour, especially as people get better at wrestling, but apparently Melody didn't get the memo. She's falling back on arm bars.
Asia Negron, embraced by her longtime coach, Steve Ergel, as well as his son, Jason. Josiah Simpson in the corner as well as we go over to the other side. Melody Schrock, always very respectful and very humble in victory, as we see her with her coach, as well as Paul Longworth, who's been helping on the strength and conditioning side of things. Handshakes all around as Melody Schrock makes history here tonight, imposing her will on every single person she's faced thus far, Andrew.
Yeah, and a lot of confidence. You know, again, it's one thing to do it in the gym, to sit up on an arm bar and fall back on your back in a fight is a different level of confidence, because the position that you end up in is not a great one. You end up with somebody on top of you punching you in the face, but Melody has so much confidence in what she does that she just gets in there, takes girls down, and submits them immediately. I mean, that upped her submission percentage that we were talking about before. She was, 3 for 6, now she's 4 for 7.
All right, with that, let's make it official with Jackson Hooks.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Celia has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 32 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to an armbar, and still the undefeated, undisputed featherweight champion, Melody Schrock.
Come on over here, Melody. Melody, quick performance, another armbar finish, and then can I add that you are now the first female to defend the featherweight title. What's going through your mind right now?
It's all really crazy, and I'm so glad I was able to remain a little bit calmer this fight. That's the thing I've been wanting to work very much, is to remain more calm. I think I did a little bit better this time.
I thought you did a phenomenal job. It looks like she fought off some of those takedown defenses early on, and then you got the takedown, went right for the armbar. Was that the game plan? You're now 4 wins and 4 armbars. Was that the game plan coming in here?
Well, it kind of always is the game plan, unless we want to switch it up or something.
Is there anybody you want to give thanks to tonight?
Oh yeah, so many people. I've had my coach, Kailani Moorhead, Paul Longworth, and my MMA manager, Roman. They've all been helping me so much. And my sisters came with me tonight, and I'm just so grateful for everyone that is so supportive of me. Everyone here means the world to me, and I love you guys very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Melody Schrock. Melody, congratulations again. Phenomenal performance, and still Fierce FC featherweight champion. Congratulations. You've defended the belt now. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
This guy right over here, Nate Reinhardt, this is his next.
He's kind of set the bar for that bantamweight division.
I don't know if there is a more fluid striker at the amateur level.
Steer's starting to pick him apart now.
There it is! Nasir Davis is unbelievable!
That right hand was nuclear.
No one is going to stop this kid.
Got the crowd on their feet, Blake.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Welcome back in, everybody, to Fierce Challenger Series 10. Jason, Melody Schrock remains at the standard at 145 pounds.
She is the standard, and somebody's got to figure out how to stop that armbar.
You know, when you're that well-versed in jiu-jitsu, especially as there's fight jiu-jitsu, there's jiu-jitsu, right? There's a big difference. A lot of times guys will come in with more of a sport jiu-jitsu background. It doesn't translate as well. That's not her. Like, this is fight jiu-jitsu. This is MMA jiu-jitsu. She's holding people down. She waited until she had the position before she fell back on the armbar. She didn't rush anything. It was really good execution by her.
We didn't mention it, but she had a really heavy knee on belly as well. She was pulling up on the head, but heavy on the knee, which really brought a lot of pressure as well.
Yeah, just a phenomenal performance. Asia did all the right things early on, and she just ended up getting tangled up and taken down and couldn't continue on. But Melody Schrock, she's a problem.
All right, 11 fights in. That only leaves 1 pro fight left at featherweight. With that, let's kick it inside to Jackson Hooks.
Fierce fans, our main event of the evening is sponsored by Glow Pop. They are very experienced in professionally making some noise. And with all sorts of gummies to choose from, Glow Pop is perfect for peak performance and for chilling after the fight. Expand your mind or melt away with proprietary blends of Blue Lotus, Delta, CBD, and natural herbs at Glow Pop. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome our final two fighters, Raymond Lawley and then Hector Lopez, to the cage.
All right, a sophomore slate for Idaho's Raymond Lawley. Andrew, didn't go his way last November, but the pro debut, clearly a possessor of power, scoring 2 knockdowns in under 25 seconds.
Yeah, you know, don't let the 0-1 fool you. He's 4-1 as an amateur, and he was pretty damn good as one, too. So brings a lot of experience into the cage. Should be a really good fight.
Jason hasn't gone to a second round since October 23rd of 2021. He always gets it done inside the distance.
Yeah, it's either get it done inside the distance or he gets finished inside the distance. He's not leaving it to the judges, that's for sure, with Raymond Lawley, and he packs a heavy punch as well.
Raymond Lawley wrestled for 9 years growing up, also has a boxing match under his belt. I've mentioned that a few times throughout his broadcasts as he's fought here for Fierce. At his jump up from amateur to pro, like you mentioned, Andrew, he was the number 2 Idaho featherweight in the state.
Yeah, he's been putting in work this whole time. You know, sometimes there's a big difference for a lot of guys. Like you're an amateur and it's 3-minute rounds, and then you move up to pro. And the guys are better at pro. A lot of guys will just leave it at an amateur career. The guys who decide to cross over and go pro, they are more serious guys. And so, you know, no shame in going 0-1, especially the very beginning of your career. It's not a big deal.
"13 months away, but back as a pro is Hector Lopez." Jason, been some time since seeing the former featherweight champ on display. Last time out, he delivered one of the most unforgettable upsets in Fierce history.
Yeah, one of the biggest upsets in Fierce Fighting Championship history. This guy is well-rounded, very, very well-versed on his feet and on the ground with that submission win that we saw in his last fight. Now jumping up to make his pro debut. I know he's ready. I know he's trained. He's got Bobby King in his corner. I know he's been getting some training in with Joe Haro. Hector Lopez is the real deal.
Yeah, Andrew, 13 months void of MMA competition, the longest layoff since coming back in October of 2022 at Fierce Challenger Series 3. He's been unbeaten since then.
Yeah, you know, another guy, he's got 9 fights, right? As an amateur, he had 9 fights, and that sort of used to be the rule of thumb a long time ago back when the amateur fights first came out. Sort of the idea, at least around Utah, was you took 10 fights and then you went pro. He seemed to follow that recipe. This will be his 10th fight. A lot of experience here between these two guys.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and pull up our tail of the tape for the final time here tonight in our main event. This professional featherweight bout is brought to you by Rush Hydro. Hector Lopez facing opposite Raymond Lawley. Lopez, the older man, by 8 years, 31 years of age to be exact. Identical in stature at 5'9". Hector Lopez tipping the scales at 146 pounds. Raymond Lawley out of the bounds of featherweight, missing weight by 3 pounds at 149. Lopez to make his pro debut here tonight. We do note his 6-3 amateur record. Raymond Lawley holding a professional record of 0-1.
Fierce fans, this is your main event. This fight is sponsored by Glow Pop, and this fight is a professional featherweight bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Now, one more time, I need everybody tuning into the pay-per-view and everybody here at the sold-out Warehouse 22 Event Center in Syracuse, Utah, put your hands together and make some noise! Yes! And introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall in weight and above the contracted weight at 149 pounds. Fighting out of SPG, Idaho, hailing from Boise, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Raymond Baby Ray Lawley. introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, making his professional debut. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of the dojo, hailing from Logan, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Hazard Hector Lopez.
Former amateur champion Hector Lopez to throw in the red gloves. Raymond Lawley will counter in the blue. This professional main event bout is brought to you by Glow Pop. For peak performance or relaxing after a match, head over to glowpop.com. Glow Pop, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Going to expect a much slower feeling out process. I guess I'm wrong, though. Here come the pros.
Raymond Lawley immediately puts his weight on top of Hector Lopez. Again, Hector Lopez, first fight in 13 months.
Yeah, sometimes that speed can feel a little bit different when you haven't been in there in a while.
Lawley looks to wrestle as he'll send Hector Lopez down to the canvas.
Beautiful takedown there. Good head position, putting a lot of weight on top of him, not letting his guy move.
And we've seen flashes of Lawley being very impressive in the cage.
It's only been this last 2 fights skid, one of them being at the amateur level, one of them being at the pros. Lawley's back has been against the wall as he stands back up.
Lawley tried to get to that Kesa position, and Lopez used it as a great opportunity to stiff arm and stand right back up.
Lopez able to get back up, but drop back down from the shot of Lawley.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about with Lawley. We've seen that in the past where he's dropped people. He's been in great positions. Let's see if he can finish this tonight.
Lopez was quick to recover, though, got right back up and started protecting himself. That was pretty slick.
I almost said right before he got dropped that he looked almost a little too comfortable throwing those shots there. And Lawley made him pay for it. I think that woke him up, Andrew.
I think so. Lawley's got a hard underhook here, and he's getting a lot of pressure with his head. He's going to try to drag Lopez to the mat again. I'd like to see Lawley step. Yep, there it is, and takes him down.
Takedown number 2 successful for the Idaho fighter.
Lawley's doing a great job of keeping his hips elevated here so he can be above his guy and keep the ride strong.
Hector Lopez never been submitted, but Lawley trying to change that right now as he targets the back.
He's got that tight body triangle too.
Yeah, Lopez needed to turn towards the fence there. Trying to get up was a little bit greedy. And he ends up in a body triangle for it.
Still, I was going to say, it's going to be hard for Lawley to finish this, I think. As I say that, he's right under the chin there.
Yeah, this looks pretty tight. He's got a body triangle. Other side's on the cage. I don't really know if there's a way out of this.
There's the tap once again. Raymond Lawley snaps the streak and is going to get his first pro win.
I said it. We've seen flashes of Raymond Lawley being impressive, and he was very impressive tonight. That's a big win against Hector Lopez.
And a great performance. Super controlled. Took his guy right to the mat, got back up, took him back down again, hurt the guy, didn't freak out, right? Kept composed like a real pro.
Yeah.
Didn't just try to swarm him and overload him with punches. Like, stayed calm and went back to his strengths. He knew his guy was hurt. He knew the finish would be there, and he took his time to get it.
Raymond Lawley, the first round finisher, gets it done once again. A win by submission is going to move him professionally to 1-1. All smiles on his side. Been a little bit of time since he's gotten his hand raised. He's going to do that in just a few moments. Quick shake of the hands between the two fighters. Hector Lopez unable to get his offense going, Andrew.
Yeah, I think that Raymond came out a little bit quicker than Hector was expecting. Hector, I think, wanted a little bit more of a feeling out process, and Raymond just wasn't having it. It was just all on him right from the start, drag him to the mat, dropped him with the right hand. It was just a little quicker than I think he was expecting the fight to go.
All right, final time tonight. Here is Hoops.
Here's fans, referee Dave Selyaset has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes 26 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke, Raymond Baby Ray Lawley.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here at the winner, Raymond Raymond, that was a impressive performance, man. You came out here. I talked about it in the broadcast. I've had the honor of calling a few of your fights now. You've always shown flashes of being like this. You came in here, you executed. Talk me through that finish, man.
Yeah, the whole goal was just to stay patient. We knew Hector was dangerous. Don't overreact when you throw shots. Find the timing, whether it's a takedown, left hand, right hook, whatever it is, and then just grind him out on the cage. I know my cage wrestling's really good. If I took his back, it was over.
Yeah, that was an impressive performance. You got the big knockdown there. Did you feel like he was hurt and you could get the finish at that point?
Yeah, after the first clinch exchange, I knew I was stronger. So as soon as I got back there, I knew I was going to be able to really grind him out if I had to.
Yeah, impressive win, man. Is there anybody you want to give thanks to tonight? Sponsors, friends, family?
Yeah, I want to give thanks to my sponsors, Jack's Nutrition, D's Custom Metal. Give a thanks to SPG, my whole team, everybody who helped me get ready, all my family, friends, and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Congratulations again, Raymond Lawley, on a impressive performance.
Raymond Lawley, victorious in this one.
Thank you.
Takes care of business for that first professional win. Closing out shop here, 12 incredible fights. We chalk this one up to be one of the best Challenger Series of all time, Andrew. And between some of these performances, I really think it's up there with the best of them.
This was an incredibly entertaining night. We had a lot of finishes, and everybody delivered. You know, we have, obviously, Ricky Mamone. That was insane. Like, I think literally I looked at all of us, and we just couldn't even talk. We were all shook. Obviously, Melody Schrock's submission, outstanding. But even the beginning amateurs, like at the beginning of the card, they all brought it, and it was pretty intense.
Jason Laporte sprinting his way back in. You're such a social butterfly that it makes it really hard sometimes to get you back to the booth at the end of the fight.
You know, Eric Iman, our counterpart here, over there, he grabbed me, pulls me aside. He said there was a lot of rear naked choke finishes tonight.
I think I said there's the tap 15 times. I'm kidding. There was only 12 fights. But I said it a lot, and that's because there were so many emphatic finishes. We see new title holders as well in terms of Ricky Mamone. Your thoughts on any of these fights here tonight?
Phenomenal performance from Ricky Mamone. And honestly, Raymond Lawley, like I said, I've seen these flashes of him before. He put it all together tonight. I was impressed with that. What I would really like to see from him, get his nutrition dialed in, get him making weight. He's a big 145er. He's strong. Tighten that up a little bit, and he can be a problem.
So much to focus on through 12 fights, but we set our sights on Fierce Challenger Series 11 live from Price, Utah on July 13th. Jason, we're talking about the birthplace of the promotion. Always good to get up there.
Oh, it's always awesome to go down to Price, Utah. They always bring a big crowd down there. It's going to be a fun night.
Andrew, some unbelievable fights. Starling Simmons, Ben Robinson topped the marquee. Jackson DeGray versus Christian Cortez for the flyweight title. Nate Reinhardt and Nasir Davis for the bantamweight title. So much to look forward to on that one.
Yeah, that Nate Reinhardt and Nasir Davis fight, right, Jason?
Wow. I mean, I'm over here like, oh, that's a banger. That's a big fight.
That is going to be a fast and chaotic fight. Like, that is... looking forward, you got to say that's probably going to be fight of the night.
If you like high-level striking, Nate Reinhardt and Nasir Davis is going to be a very high-level striking fight.
And think about this. Jackson DeGray going down, Nasir Davis going up. Pound for pound number 1, pound for pound number 2. I actually talked to Jackson DeGray just a couple of days ago. He told me that when that fight happens between him and Nasir, it's going to be at pro. Jackson DeGray going to be going pro after this one, but he looks forward to facing Nasir Davis someday in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, that's another fight that's I'm just like, wow. Nasir Davis he's a problem. That kid is a problem. And Nate Reinhardt's a problem. Nate Reinhardt, I say striking, Nate Reinhardt has wrestling. Nate Reinhardt can get the fight to the ground and submit people.
You know, the most exciting thing for me, at least, not only as a coach and as a participant, but as a spectator, is when you get to see guys who have, when you watch them and you know they have the potential to do things at the next level, and you get to watch them right before they're there. That is such an exciting thing. And that card, there's 6 guys right there who could be fighting at a pretty high level professionally.
I think we saw a lot of them as well here tonight at Fierce Challenger Series 10. It has been an unbelievable night, despite some of the craziness that happened between the cage and all those things. I'm not going to get too much into those details, but Jason, as always, love having you. Thank you so much for being here. Andrew, How'd you like it, man? It was fun.
Dude, I haven't done it in a long time. It's been, man, almost a decade probably since I've been able to do this. I love it. The professionalism at Fierce, like Blake, you're an amazing captain. I love the way that you lead the table with me and Jason, and it was a lot of fun. I love to sit around, and if you ever grab me on the side of a fight, I'll talk about fights with you for an hour. So it's nice to sit down with people who actually want to hear me talk and get to do it in a more professional setting.
It's been great to have him as an analyst here today, Jason. We were talking about during the intermission.
Yeah, we talked about the intermission. It was awesome. I mean, your knowledge of the fight game, having been in the cage, your breakdowns of some of the transitions, it was great having you alongside of me tonight.
Tickets on sale for Fierce Challenger Series 11 on Monday. FierceFightingChampionship.com is where you can get those. For everyone here at Fierce Fighting Championship, from those that put on the show to those who put behind this broadcast, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all on July 13th. Blake O'Rulian, Andrew Boquette, Jason Laporte saying so long from Syracuse, Utah.